Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Happy hump day, everybody. Yes, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis hanging out with you on this midweek. Hope you're doing well. Gunner, what's up, my man?
I'm winded, man. I'm winded. Yes.
What happened?
When my oldest daughter comes over with the other three kids, she came over this morning so the kids could surprise my other grandson who lives here. So they range in age from 10 months to, 10 months, 23 months, 4.5, and 8. So she comes over, she goes, Dad, because, she and her husband are both RNs, they work overnight shifts.
Yeah.
So she was off yesterday. He worked last night. So she brings him over, because he's sleeping. Dad, can you watch the kids for a few minutes while I take a quick shower? I said, yeah, no problem. I raised 3 kids. I was a hockey goalie keeping you 3 in play. I had 3 kids in just under 4 years, no problem. Hey, man, let me tell you something. The 8-year-old and the 4-year-old over there plotting. The 23-month-old is ripping up everything. The 10-month-old is putting everything in his mouth. I'm chasing him. Every time I put him down and look at these two, he's gone this way. I'm like, ooh.
I hear you. It'll get you. It'll get you, man. That's for sure. Chasing the young
get back on the treadmill, man.
Helps keep you on your toes. What's up, Fitness Rebel? What's up, Forrest? What's up, Chris D? What's up, Sushi Kid? What's up, Mr. Taz? GG. Who else do we have? Eric, Hungry, Mood Swing Bell. There she is. What's up, Forrest Hill? William, if I missed anybody, I apologize. It's good to see each and every single one of you guys. Love that you're hanging out with us, and we do appreciate that on this day. I don't know if you guys can pick up on any of it, but literally, like right across the street from my house, they are doing some massive road work, and it is loud as heck. It feels like the whole house is vibrating, man.
What's with your neighborhood always under construction?
There's always stuff going on, man. It's never a dull moment. And earlier, 2 of the workers were screaming at each other, so that was fun. It's a little added drama. Those 2 going at one another. They haven't been screaming. It was like 9 o'clock, so I think they're good now, but we'll see. Stay tuned.
A truck behind you. I can hear a truck beeping.
Truck backing up. Yep. There's all kinds of stuff, man. So I'll do the best I can to drown it out as you make your points and our guests make our points. We're gonna have Tom McCarthy coming up at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Derek still looks good. Jason Kelsey, the man himself.
So far, so good.
All right, 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, Jason tomorrow at 1. So we're looking forward to that, barring any kind of setbacks. But I know he's got his big event coming up down the shore, which it raises money for the Eagles Autism Challenge. And it's pretty cool what he does, what he and Travis do. It's the annual Team 62 fundraiser for Eagles Autism Foundation down the shore. So we'll give you all the details of that as well. So a lot going on in Philadelphia sports. I went to the Phillies game last night with my son, Derek. So Bobby and I went to the game.
Really?
Yeah, we had fun. It was a good game. We had great seats. We were in right field, a few rows up from where Nick Castellanos and Ronald Acuna Jr. were plying their trade. Got an early lead on a Castellanos hit, and unfortunately wasted a really good outing from Ranger Suarez, who has pitched great for them. And that's the shame of this thing.
What did I tell you yesterday? I anticipated this being an incredible pitching duel, and it turned out to be just that between the Braves pitcher and
Spencer Strider. Yep.
Yeah, Strider. I loved every bit of it. And I know in this day and age, people want to see runs scored and all that stuff. But I'm an old school traditionalist, man. I love seeing a 1-0, 2-1 type game. I think there's more suspense and drama in that. And, man, I tell you what, both pitchers gave the fans their money's worth. Unfortunately, the wrong team won. But if you're just purely enjoy the game of baseball, you couldn't have asked for a better scenario. Because the anticipation is who's going to get that first run, who's going to, and I mean, these dudes are hitting the corner. Now, obviously, the Phillies got to Strider a lot sooner than the Braves got to Suarez. But
right.
Man, what a great, from just a fan perspective, not an analyst, not a media, just a fan perspective. What a great game to watch.
It was a lot of fun. It was one of those games where, and you just knew early the Phillies were leaving men on base and it was going to come back and bite them, and it did. And Derek, for the life of me, I can't figure this out. So they had a day off on Monday after coming, in from the West Coast, but they have a day off on Monday, and somehow, some way, Alvarado, Marte, and Strom are all unavailable coming off of an off day. Like, it's the kind of load management stuff that drives me nuts about this day and age. It's ridiculous that you didn't have at least one of them ready or available, to be able to go last night. And Hoffman goes in there, walks the leadoff man, and it comes back to bite them. Terrible.
Where's Soto?
I don't know.
Now, they obviously Kimbrel would have come on.
Yeah,
but where the heck was Soto?
I don't know. And you went even a 1+ inning with Hoffman, who clearly had nothing. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's really disappointing. And that's a big series. I know you may not come back to win the division, but I don't care. It's June. You're not giving up on anything at this point.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
It took me years to get used to Major League Baseball transforming into a pitching specialist league in terms of starters can go only X amount of innings and throw X amount of pitches to put less wear and tear on their arm. And then you got another guy who come in. He only needs is to get you a couple of outs in situations. And then you have another guy come in. We only need you for an inning as a setup guy for the closer. When did we start this mess?
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know when we did, and I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know it's 162 games, and you always have to be looking steps ahead and all this and that. But you had an off day, and you're playing the Braves. You got to put your best foot forward out there, and that to me last night was. And granted, ultimately, 2 runs is not going to cut it. You got to do better than that. So the offense has to step up. You can't leave. Last night they go 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position and leave 8. So is that a bigger deal than the not having guys available? Sure it is. But it's a combination of things as to why you lose. So I was, I had a blast at the game. The weather was perfect. Like, it was just great. It was a great atmosphere, but it was just a bummer. It was a bummer they didn't win that game.
Well, the thing that killed me the most about this game, and I wrote this note down because I wanted to make a point of this, and I'm going to bring it up to Tom McCarthy again, was they wasted leadoff hits in 3 innings. And one of those innings, they led the inning off with back-to-back hits and wasted those innings.
Yeah.
That's the telling tale of the game right there.
Yep.
When you're playing a team like the Braves, you have to take advantage of those early situations. Because once you allow their hitters to get settled in, it's like I mentioned yesterday, there's a reason why they're the best team in the National League. They lead the league in home runs, batting average, runs scored. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, that was on display last night because that home run Olsen hit, I stood up and started singing the Star Spangled Banner. That thing hit the upper deck, man. It had vapor trail on the back of it.
Yeah, that one and the one Riley hit, the first one, they were both moonshots. I mean, there was no the Olsen one flew over our head, where my son and I were sitting, and pretty close. And the Riley one was just tattooed to left field. That ball was destroyed. So it was.
The Ellis men, neither one of the Ellis men got up and tried to run back and make an over-the-shoulder grab.
No. When I say over, I don't mean just went over. I mean like, bye-bye, see ya. That thing had a vapor trail on it. It was unless I grew to like 800 feet, Derek, I wasn't catching that thing. That ball was killed. So you had that. All right, let me show you, Tone. Give me the Flyers' new uniforms, if you could, please. I want to show you the new look Flyers. It's new look, old look. So they kind of went back a little bit to the burnt orange, old school look that they had previously back in the day. I don't mind these. There it is. So we'll kind of pan up a little bit. All right, so notice it's a little darker, right? The orange.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it too, and I like the white sleeve, emphasizing the numbers. See how it's a little bit different, the darker.
The one on the left looks more like a pumpkin. I like the one on the right.
I do too. I'm good. I think it makes the black stand out on the logo in the front more. It pops it a little bit more, right? And I like just the black numerals on the sleeves. I'm good with that too. Yeah. I like it.
Thing, orange numbers on there. Yeah, I do. I like the black. I like any uniform that has a black associated with it.
Yeah, that looks good. I think it's, you know what? And they're also trying to, it signals we're changing things up here a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, Colette, symbolic in a lot of ways.
Hey, maybe a change in uniforms will bring about a change in their luck.
I agree.
I agree. Can't get any worse.
Yep. Thank you, Tone. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a little bit more. There you go. Oh, there it is.
I like that. See, I like that with the black lettering.
Yeah. I'm good with the black nameplate. Yeah, that looks good. That looks sharp. I like it. So good work out of the Flyers. I know people are going to dump on everything, Derek, all the time.
Of course.
And they don't want any, nobody wants change, this and that. But I like what the Flyers did there. So
I'm a traditionalist in a lot of ways when it comes to uniforms, especially in the NFL. But I can't think of an NFL uniform when they've made whether drastic change or subtle changes. I have no problem with it. I like it. It's modernizing. You know, some things need to change. Like, I don't think they'll ever change like Green Bay or Chicago's uniform scheme.
No, Yankees won't change theirs.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Yep.
I don't think they'll change. But I like subtle change. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. All right, let me ask you, any interest at all in the NBA draft tomorrow night?
Nope.
Same.
Nope.
Yeah.
But
same.
you said yesterday you were going to watch.
Have it on. Yeah, I'll have it on. I'll actually be working when it's on, but I'll have it on and paying attention to it simply because I want to see if there's either a draft day trade, and I don't mean draft picks or I think it's what a lot of trades happen in the NBA.
Yep.
So the Sixers could be making some moves, or they could be getting a second round pick or something like that. So I'll keep my eye on it, but there's not a lot of players I'm interested in, frankly, seeing here in this draft. It's just a bunch of kind of guys who were either there for a year, played in the G League, or coming over from Europe, and we all know who the first pick's going to be. It's the Wembanyama kid who's coming over from France. So he's going to be the Spurs pick. But yeah, I will say it's the least interested I've gone into an NBA draft in a really long time.
Yeah, same here. And I have my laptop and I have my iPhone. I'm good. Any notifications, updates I need, I'll get from those things. I got too much on my plate, so I'm not going to sit there and just watch the draft. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see most of the Phillies game tomorrow because the game starts at 1:00.
Right.
That's probably the only TV I would focus on tomorrow is that Phillies game. Outside of that, I'm looking forward from getting a breather away from just being glued to a game while I'm doing research and getting ready for a show the next day.
I hear you. All right. So speaking of uniforms, I think we're both on the same page. We like the Flyers little tweak that they did.
Yep.
Let's relate it to the Eagles because I've seen some folks already, like Gigi is already mentioning how he can't wait for the Kelly Greens, right? Which is cool. And I know we really, John, question of the day. Have I ever had facial hair? Yes. I had a goatee back in the day.
When?
I did. You just don't remember. I had a
goatee.
goatee.
You never had a goatee when we worked together.
It never stayed long. I always get impatient. I get itchy and then I shave it off. I don't usually stay with it for a long period of time.
Goatee? You never had a goatee.
I had a little soul patch right here. I had a goatee. This was like early 2000s, probably.
There's no way. I worked with you from 97. Let's see. We worked together from 97 until when?
Till you and I worked together from 97 until about 2018.
2018.
I left for a little bit and then I came back.
There's no way. You didn't have a goatee.
You know what I'll do? I'll see if I could dig up a picture during the next break. I think there may be one somewhere where I have something. So anyway, I did. Here's the problem. The problem now is it would be too gray. I'd be a gray beard if I grew it in now. That's the problem. Yes, I would be. It would be here. Like I think it would look weird. I'd be like dark here a little bit and then gray here. Like I'd look. Yeah, it's too much.
I would think it might make you look creepy and it might make you look older.
Yes, and I'm not really looking to do older either. Excuse me, not just older, creepy or older. So I'm good. But yes, I have. But back to the uniform thing. So the Eagles, yes, I would look distinguished. Sure, that's a nice way of saying it. Thank you, Twiz. No, but I know we get particularly opinionated, excited, cranked up about Eagles uniforms. Whether it's they will be bringing back the Kelly green,
Right?
we know that. They will wear the alternate black jerseys from time to time. They have the traditional midnight green that they've been wearing for a number of years.
Right.
They have the white, which they'll wear depending on the matchup or whether they're home or away or whatever. I tell you the truth, Derek. I like the current uniforms. Like, I don't have any kind of beef with the current uniforms. I mean, they won a Super Bowl in these uniforms. I like these uniforms. I like the color scheme. I like the look of them. Like, I have no problem. But I'm glad they're incorporating the other stuff too. But I don't feel the need for the Eagles to have to change the uniforms. I like the uniform. Well, how about you?
I agree 100%. As a matter of fact, my favorite Eagles uniform is the black with the green and white trim.
Yeah.
I love the black jersey. I think black jerseys look so menacing in any sport. And I know people, love the Kelly green. I watched the Eagles from afar back in the day. I'm not locked in on the Kelly green like a lot of people are. As a matter of fact, and I know this is going to tick people off. When I look at from the time that I've covered the Eagles up to now, and I know how people embrace that Kelly green. The Kelly green to me are my least favorite ones.
Okay.
I think the Kelly green kind of looks like a holiday-ish type uniform. And I know that's taboo. When
you're going to be in trouble with the people, man.
I like the dark. When I got here, in 2003, when I got that new stadium, they switched the uniforms to that darker green. I love the darker green. And then, like I said, as years have passed, they incorporated the black uniform with the green trim. I love those uniforms. Yeah. GT said, "Fighting worse, Dico."
Yeah, you got her. You better watch out. This is, so even Christie's not a Kelly green fan. Like the midnight of the black, and yeah, Gigi's angry, my friend. Yes,
I know. Chris D, I told you I'm gonna hire you as my PR person. Chris D, see, we like this. We're right here. Yes. See, Chris D understands what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, man. I like the Kelly green, but I think like Philadelphia fans love the Kelly green. I like it. I don't love it. I like it. It's fine. It's cool. I like it, but.
Fitness Rebel, hush, D. All right. You are a Philadelphia traditionalist through and through.
Yes.
So I'm calling you out right now. Okay.
You being me or Fitness Rebel?
No, I'm calling you out, Rob Ellis.
Okay.
The Kelly green, midnight green, the black uniforms. Stack them 1 through 3.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yep. Everybody listen closely to what Rob is saying. Rob is born and raised in Philadelphia, bleeds Philadelphia. He is Philadelphia through and through. There's nobody more Philadelphia than Rob Ellis. Rob Ellis, you are on the clock.
All right, let me think about this. So, all right. So you got a couple of examples. You see Reggie here. You see the green, the lighter green that they wore in Reggie's 80s and 90s. And then you have, that was the Kelly green, with Bednarik right there, old school, even though it's a white jersey. And that's Frank Gifford, by the way, laid out. We are going to talk about the all-time Giants in a little while, and Frank Gifford is on the list for me.
Oh,
little foreshadowing for you right there.
Oh,
but anyway, there's a couple of examples. I'm going to see if I have another one laying around here that we.
Wait a minute, Kelly. Fitness Rebel tells me to hush, so she just answered the question I asked you. She went black first, Kelly green second, and then the other. So she didn't even put Kelly green as number 1.
All right. So Jake gets an interesting take on this. Jake Friel. He says, give me the Kelly greens on Christmas against the Giants in their red jerseys. Giants red jerseys.
I like that. Yeah, the Giants have a red jersey they wear.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be really interesting. All right. I'm not ducking. I was trying to give you examples.
Wait. Look at MPC Smith 1 says, Rob, do the right thing here, bro. The pressure's on, man. Hey, you have been. I've been clocking this. You have been sidestepping the direct question for 60 seconds while you set up everything else.
I could run for office as much as I've ducked this one.
1, 2, or 3.
All right, here we go. So my choices are Kelly green, the traditional midnight that they're wearing now, and then the black uniforms, the alternative black. Right?
You put Kelly green first.
No, I'm saying that's my options. I'm asking.
Yeah, those are your
okay,
options.
that's my options. Okay.
Here we go. Listen closely, people.
All right, I'm gonna go. Wow. All right, everybody's gonna be mad at me. I'm gonna go Midnight Black Kelly. Midnight Black Kelly.
Yes.
Yes.
Right here, baby.
Yes.
Right here.
I am. Look, and I also, Twiz, I like the whites too. I think the whites can pop. I like the whites. I'm not opposed. They are clean. I'm not really opposed to any of this. But yeah, I think I'm in the minority for lifelong Philadelphians. I like the Midnight, the Black, the Kelly. That's the way I'm going. Sorry.
Jalen Jenkins said, Rob,
you messed up. Yeah, shake my head. I get some support. Steve gives me a little support. Thank you, Steve.
Look, Gigi said I'm unsubscribing.
All right, Sills asked, do I like the white helmets? Oh man, if I have that.
No,
I don't, Sills, to answer your question. But when I was a kid, they used to make these. I'll see if I can find. I think I have it in my. I actually have it right here in the.
And look what Mr. Taz said.
Look, I have it right here where the dead bodies are in the crawl space. But
hey, look what Mr. Taz says. Give back your Philly fandom ID.
That's right. That's right, Mr. Taz. It's been retracted. I know. So what I had the when I was a little kid, my parents got me. They used to make these NFL helmets into lamps. I don't know if any of you guys had this, but it was the old white Eagles helmet. I think I do have it back in that mess. I'll see if I can. I don't have enough time to dig through that crap back there, but I have it somewhere. It's a white helmet, with the lampshade. And it's the old Eagles helmet that they wore with like Roman Gabriel, if you remember those times.
Oh, heck yeah.
They were some bad Eagles years. It was like the early Harold Carmichael, Mike McCormick, like terrible 70s before Vermeil got here. That's what they used to wear. No, I don't. I don't want to go back to the white helmets. I am not a fan of the white helmet.
No, I don't like any white helmet for any team. I really don't.
I don't mind the Bills' white helmet. I don't mind that.
The Cowboys had a white helmet with a star. Also,
I don't like that.
One with the white shoulder.
Yeah,
that looks more like a Division II uniform.
So Dan, I actually 100% had the bed sheets and the covers. I totally had those. Yes,
I never had those.
I had those too. Yeah, it had every team on it. Yeah, I used to get. I had the pennants. The pennants. They're like triangular. You get a team pennant. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you an example. See if I can move my computer over far enough here.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Do you see this one? Like the pennant. Yep. You know what I'm talking about? Like the pennant style. Okay.
Yep.
That's my high school right there. But all right, there we go. Knowing me, I'll knock this thing off and then it'll be over.
We'll do it.
No, we're not doing that. But I had in a circle, I had every NFL team in a pennant in my room when I was a kid.
Are you serious?
I was a maniac, Derek. I watched every game. I could tell you every stat. I was out of my mind. But
you know what? I stand corrected. Jalen Jenkins says the Bengals white helmets are on fire.
I like those.
We discussed that last fall.
Yes,
and that is correct. I did like
the black stripes, the black tiger stripes. They are badass. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those.
That's the only white helmet I've ever liked. I didn't care for the old Chargers white helmets. I don't
see. I'm not anti-white helmet as much as you. I don't mind them as much.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, you actually, Tone, do we have the Lions? I'll show you guys that one. Yes, Stills, I got it at Sears. We lived at Sears. Sears and J.C. Penney was our. Yes, we were there all the time, man.
Dude, let me tell you something. When December rolled around, in my house, we could not wait to get the Sears catalog. That thick catalog. It had all the Christmas stuff, clothing, toys. My brother and I would just blaze through the toy section and ask for this, that, and the other thing. And we usually got at least a couple of the items we'd ask for in the toys. But you're right. Sears and J.C. Penney's were the prime stores that we shopped at when we were kids.
Yeah, it was cheaper. I mean, you could stuff was affordable, man. But the Lions have come out with new helmet, a new helmet. So we'll show you if we do we have that, Tone? I don't know if we have that or not.
Nick Sills, you're right. I had the old electric football games. I had 3 of them because every Christmas by the spring, I'd lose some of the men, and I have to get
well, let me show you too the other one. I'm just speaking of that. Hold on, because I just saw it because I had to get something out of the crawl space. If you guys can hear me, hang on. It's fine. I meant to grab it. Give me 1 second.
JH1 says, Sears had the women in
live
their
TV, live digital.
What the heck kind of blanket is that? What is that blanket?
I want you guys to check this out. This is a really weird first segment. I know, everybody. I know. Let me show you this, okay? And by the way, if anybody is shopping for a new house and you have the option of getting a house with a crawl space versus not having a house with a crawl space, take the option of not ever having a crawl space, ever, 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 ever. I can't emphasize it enough. I loathe crawl spaces. All right, I'm done. But check this out. Do you guys remember this? The Mattel electronic football game?
Oh, yes.
Yes. This thing was awesome. So this is how, basically right here was how you went up, down, sideways, whatever. This was, you got the score, the status, which is like, 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line. This is if you had to kick, if you had to pass. If not, you were running. And there were 2 levels here, Pro 1 and Pro 2. They were the levels that you played on. And it was this little cheesy, this is classic 80s right here, people. This is what it was like in the 80s. So appreciate your technology now.
Did you ever have the electric football game?
Oh,
you had the little men, and you just line them up and you turn it on, and they would vibrate and just run into each other.
Yes.
Oh, man, that was like, dude, I had like 3 of those things. I told you I'd lose the men every year, and I'd get a new one, and then my parents would tell me, this is the last one you're going to get. I get it for the next year.
Yeah, of course, because you sit there and whine enough, they don't want to hear it. They're like,
I lost half the men by the time summer rolled around.
Exactly. All right, let me show you the Lions helmet. Tell me, give me your. I didn't really have time to sort of soak it in, so you tell me what you had and what you think. All right, so this is the video that the Lions organization put out. So that's a pretty badass old school Mustang.
I love that car.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
I want to get an old '65 Mustang one day with a rag top.
I love those, Derek. Okay, so this is part of what they're doing. So there's the old one, right? The silver. Yep. Here comes the new one. Hold on.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, that's it. The blue, with that metallic. I guess it's metallic blue. Is that what you would call that?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck you call it. Metallic blue. Yeah.
And it's got, obviously it has a lion, going through the logo. The only knock that I see that people are putting out there on, I don't mind it. It's kind of different. They say it looks too much like Kentucky, a little bit like Kentucky-ish colors. I don't know. I don't mind really.
I like the blue. I like the Lions logo. I don't like that bar coming down the middle of it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, why the bar? If it was just the lion with the silver with the blue, I think that kind of works.
Just put the lion decal on there with the blue. Hey, still stop being a hater, man.
What he say?
I like that. I like that blue. Ooh, I like that.
Oh, it looks like a MAC school. Yeah, it does have a MAC school. It has a Tuesday night MAC game kind of feel to it a little bit.
Wow.
Action. Had a little match. Thank you, Tone. Appreciate it, buddy. Good to have Tone
like
back.
That. I can get with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, that's interesting. That was a little show and tell kind of weird segment. I don't know what happened there, but it's all good. I actually went live into the crawl space. You guys are welcome for that. But
somebody said, Rob, who else you got it? Who else you got in that crawl space?
You don't want to know what's going on in there, man. You guys would all be accomplices if I told you what was actually going on in that crawl space. I'm doing you a favor. Yeah. But here's what happens with the crawl space. The last thing I'll say. So what happens is every, 4 months. Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa. That's right, John. Jimmy Hoffa's buried in there. Yes. Every 4 months, right? I'll go in there. And Gigi wants a crawl space segment. Yes.
Oh, dude. That would be hilarious. What you need to do, because
I could do it on my phone. I could do it.
No, it's got to be live. I don't know how you do it.
No, I'm saying I could just hold my phone up. I could go on the show through my phone instead of my desktop and just walk through it.
Yeah, dude, we gotta have a cral space segment one of these days.
All right, we will do it. Maybe we'll do it. We'll do it on one Friday as a goofy last segment.
See a John Wayne Gacy crawl space. That's it. I'm done.
You guys are bad, man. 80s adult German film set. You guys are bad. Here's another. You got all the one-liners today. Is your 16th job a clown? Yes, thank you, Dank. So I don't even know what I was just gonna say. Here's what happens. So every like 3 months, I get up enough fortitude to go into the crawl space to clear it out, right? To make space. So all I'm looking to do is make lanes where you can get in, get to one side. I just want lanes. That's all I want, to be able to get to certain stuff. Christmas decorations, whatever nonsense is in there. Here's the problem. Everybody in the house gets whatever, their suitcase or whatever else, opens the door and does this. Puts it right there. Puts it right there in the front. So you can't get in. It's blocked. And it happens every single time. Every single time.
I can't tell you how many closets I have in my house, and you open the doors and stuff just falls, or you can't even get in because there's stuff with so much stuff in there.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I wish I could pay somebody. Look at Moose. Look at
Moose. Maggie, they are coming for me, girl. They're coming for me. I need protection. Yes.
See, look at them sticking up for you today. Hey,
Thank you.
I always yell at my family, I wish I could pay somebody to come in here and rob my house. You take whatever you want out of the closet except clothing. Anything else is open game.
Listen, man. I hear you. Okay, I'll do it. I'll show you guys. You guys will understand my pain when I do the crawl space segment. You know what? You want to do it tomorrow for the last segment? We'll do it on the 2:30 segment tomorrow. You want to do that?
Yeah, what the heck?
All right, we'll do it tomorrow. I'll give you a quick tour of the chaos that's in there. Okay?
If I even suggested to my wife that I would give a live tour of one of our closets, I'm telling you now, I'd be sleeping in my car. I probably would be sleeping.
I'm used to it. So it wouldn't be my first car sleep. So we'll see what happens.
Mr. Taz says, I'll take that offer, D Gun, to come in and ransack your closets. My wife would have a fit if I allowed somebody to do that. Hey, real quick, not to deviate, but I've always wanted to ask our chat section this.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, when we come on air, there's certain people that always say hello specifically to each other, right?
Right.
So I've always wondered, have any of you guys ever met in person? I've always been curious of that, because you always see Fitness Rebel, Mood Swing, Chris D, and a few other people, John Dickerson, Adams Exploits, that always give a shout out to each other. Right. I was just always curious, have they ever crossed paths in person? Have they ever met in person? I'm just curious.
Great question. I don't know. So you guys want to let us know? We will do that.
John Dickerson said, "Nigga, we just want to see your pimp suit closet." Nah, bro, that's off limits. So you can't see that. I got the shoes with the goldfish in the heel.
That stuff's in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I got the glass cane. You can't be seeing all that, bro. Some things got to be left unattainable to the eye.
Have you seen this too? Sills mentions that he'd rather go into the crawl space than sub in the middle of the ocean. Do you see this thing? This submarine what's
up with this?
I don't know, man. It's bizarre.
And it's still looking for the people?
Yeah. I commend anybody, naval people or anybody else who have done submarine stuff and, are willing to do that. That's not, I would much rather be flying or doing something else than that. It's a tough go for me. It would be really, really difficult. But anyway, it's scary. It's scary. Scary stuff. Scary stuff.
Dude, if they're still looking for this crew, I hate to say this, man.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. So hopefully maybe things will get work out. But anyway, it's a sad situation. Anyway, all right, let's get a timeout here. We'll come back. We're gonna play you a couple cuts, Derek, from Brandon Graham, who we had on yesterday, who had some very interesting things to say. Among them, he talks about Sean Desai, he talks about the Super Bowl loss, he talks about Nolan Smith, talks about some of the trash talk that's been going on. So we'll play some of those cuts for you when we come back, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into the Eagles defense, some areas they need to improve, some new faces. We'll get into the whole Eagles thing at 1 o'clock. Tom McCarthy's going to join us. So don't go anywhere. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk about Bravo Pizza of Havertown. I'm hungry. I don't know about you guys. Bravo Pizza of Havertown. We're thrilled that they're a sponsor of not only the channel, but also Sports Take. And I've been going there since I was a kid. They've been family owned since 1985. You got Alex and the crew in there each and every day, just putting out just unbelievable food and options for you. 20 different styles of They have slices to go. They have the you name it, we'll make it specialized pizza the way that you want it. They also have fresh pasta, sandwiches, wraps, wings, salads. On top of that, they're committed to the community, whether it is the Eagles Autism Challenge, raising money for that, community events, fundraisers for charities, for schools, for little leagues, where those proceeds go to those organizations. You can follow them at the Bravo Pizza of Havertown on Instagram or Facebook for daily specials and promotions and the menu. Their address is 1305 Westchester Pike in the Manoa Shopping Center in Havertown. 1305 Westchester Pike, Manoa Shopping Center, Havertown. Give them a call, 610-446-3810, 610-446-3810, Bravo Pizza of Havertown.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
And the big story on Action News?
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia Dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake them out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. I didn't see, I don't think anybody, I know Adam said he attempted to meet up with some folks, but it never really happened. So I don't know that anybody's gotten together in the chat section, but we'll see. We shall see. All right. I have a picture where I have a little bit of a goatee and a soul patch that I just grabbed. Not that I didn't have much time, but I just ran and grabbed. All right. See if you can see that without too much of a reflection. Trying to get it.
Is that Matt Howley?
No, that's unfortunately, that's my buddy Sean, who passed away years back. It was one of my great friends. He was, I tell you, you talk about a foxhole guy, man. That dude in that red tie was a foxhole guy. But you can see I have a little bit of a goatee there. You see it? And a soul patch.
What year was this?
Oh boy, that's late 90s.
That's late 90s. It's got to be before Sportsnet.
It was It may have been. It may have been right around the early Sportsnet years, Derek, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I don't ever remember Rob Ellis with
if I could dig something up, after the show today, I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you in tone. All right. I look like John Travolta from Swordfish. Tone said in the private chat. Yeah, he's not wrong. A young Travis Barker. Yeah, Travis and I don't exactly look alike now. GG.
Oh, John Dickerson, Maynard G. Krabs. I remember that. Oh my goodness.
Band. Yeah, I look like a boy band from the 90s. That's what I did. I did look like that. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I'm not even about to show you my picture when I look like Lincoln Hayes from the Mod Squad. It ain't gonna happen.
I saw. We have to dig that one back up, Christy. Yes, I had the dark hair back in the day. Oh, that's true. All right. I what else can I embarrass myself with today? Is there anything else? All right, and we're only 40
that's what
minutes
we do. Hey, you know what? Some of you people in the chat, since you enjoy us making idiots of ourselves, let's see some of your pictures. Can they put pictures up in chats? Can you put Tone? Can they put pictures up in the chats?
I don't know. We do need to do in all seriousness, we need to establish
pictures.
We got to establish an email address for the show where they can send us some content or pictures of themselves or whatever. Like we do. Yeah. And folks, we will do that. That's on us. So we will do that. Okay. So they cannot right now. And then you're right, Tank. You can't. So that's on us. So that is on us. We will take care of that. We'll get that done. That's something, Tone, if we could look into that, just establishing an email address, I would appreciate that. All right. But it's that reliving the rivalry videos was pretty good. He was young. Yes, I was young. Let's hit a couple things Eagles wise. How am I supposed to even get this thing back on track? Yeah, I know, Chris. I'm trying. I'm trying to give you I'm bearing my soul, Chris. If I could, yeah. Now you can send them, and Tone could share them. Yeah, that's what we would do. That we would do that. I agree with you, Adam. I think we can make that happen. It's not that big a deal. All right. Yeah, let's not go too far with some of the requests now. Now we're getting a little crazy with some things that are being said. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it clean. All right. So we had Brandon Graham on yesterday, and I would suggest to everybody, and by the way, Jason Kelsey tomorrow at 1:00. But Brandon was on yesterday. If you missed any of it, please go back and check it out. You go to jakibsports.com, or you can just go to our JAKIB Sports YouTube channel, and all of our content is there. So you can go back and watch. He was on 12:30 yesterday. All right. Tone, give me cut number 4. I want to hear from Brandon Graham on Sean Desai. That's where we'll start with this, because the Eagles, Derek, have their fair share of new pieces here, namely a new defensive coordinator. And we had Brandon on yesterday to talk about any number of things, but one of the things we asked him about was, hey, what's this going to look like with Sean Desai? So here's what Brandon had to say. I know you got to get out of here, but give us your insights on what it's like being around Sean Desai, because we're all kind of wondering, what this is going to look like this year with a new coordinator.
Hey, well, he's a great teacher, man. So far, everybody's loving, just how he's teaching right now. Because that's really the biggest thing. How do you give us the information? How do you make it simple where we can go out there and just be us and play? And I think, learning about him, learning that his parents were teachers and stuff like that, he kind of got those, it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? And so I do love just his calm manner. I want to see what he's really like when it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? You always find, that's why I say, man, this game exposes everybody because you can't hide it on game day. You can't hide it in practice because sometimes the pressure of the head coach or whoever's your boss is on you about making sure it look like what it need to look like for Sunday. So I want to see everything as we go along the season, just on how he handled it. But so far, man, he's been cool. He's been embracing the older guys and say he got some stuff for me, man. I'm excited. For what he gonna put in for me. But like I told you, man, I'm going into it just trying to help him and make it as easy as I can for him to know that, I'm all in, and whatever you need from me, to help some rookies or, show certain guys that need some help, I'm all in with it. But Desai, man, I think he got some energy balled up in him right now. Right now, it's everything been kind of cool and calm.
Hey, BG, real quick. When the rumor came out that the Eagles were thinking about bringing in Matt Patricia, and the history between Patricia and Darius Slay, Were you guys saying, "Oh, geez, it just got real"?
Oh man, I was just like, well, I don't know. Slay might X that, I don't know. Like they gonna have to talk, because I know when Slay came, boy, he couldn't wait to get away from him as a head coach. But people, I would just say, people are different as head coaches. But now without that pressure, I don't think you get the same type of guy. But you might have seen some things that now that's him. You know what I'm saying? Because it only exposed you, and like I told you, like, man, this football world, especially when you become the head guy, you realize that sometimes you the head guy, but I'm really the one that run it over here that people don't see. So you got to take it 10, and so some people don't like that.
All right, interesting on a couple of fronts. The Desai thing, I think Brandon was very honest in that, hey, I like what I'm seeing. He's a good teacher, but we got to see when it gets real, how he reacts to things.
Yep.
What are the calls? What are the adjustments that are made? How are we busting off the game plan a little bit? That kind of stuff, I think, is where it's really at. So that was a very honest answer. Yeah, I think the other thing, and you followed up, good follow-up with you, Derek, regarding Slay and Patricia and what that's going to be like. Nobody's really going overboard like, hey, we all love each other. It's kind of like, all right, we got to feel it out a little bit here and see what this looks like. And Brandon kept it real. He did.
So Desai's a good communicator, and I'm not surprised there when we talked about his educational background, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
So he's a very good teacher of men. Like Brandon said, the real test comes when the bullets start flying for real.
Yep.
How you adjust on the fly. Who are you incorporating? What groups of players are you using in certain down, distance, and situations? That's when you find out exactly what a leader is or is not. Anytime you have a new guy come in who doesn't have a long history of being a coordinator, veteran players who are highly decorated, like the Eagles have on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to look at you side out a little bit, to see what you're talking about. First of all, can you talk the lingo? And according to Brandon Graham, so far, he's passed that test. But then again, they've only had 6 days of really getting on field stuff with him.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get an extended version, obviously, in training camp. Most of the frontline guys won't get that experience in a preseason game because nobody plays their regulars anymore in the preseason. So when the bullets start flying for real, those unexpected moments, there's always something that you're going to encounter. I don't care who you are as a coordinator or a head coach. There's always situations and formations you're going to encounter that you have not seen on film. How do you respond in those situations, especially if a team has success using a certain play call against you? How do you change on the fly to defend against that possibility the next time? That's where a true coordinator or a head coach, for that matter, earns his stripes and really gains the trust of his players.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I can't argue that. It's everything should be going smoothly now when you're in shorts, and everything should be going smoothly in training camp. But then when the games, that's where the rubber meets the road in a lot of ways. So we'll see. Give me cut number 1, Tone, from Brandon. This upcoming cut is going to be just, the Super Bowl, the way things went, how difficult it is to get over that. We all know what the conditions were, and it certainly wasn't favorable to either team, but I think it affected the Eagles more than it did the Chiefs because they had more sort of edge, lighter speed guys on the outside. But here's Brandon Graham on the Super Bowl loss and his mindset going forward. Here is BG. Do we have cut number 1, Tone? Brandon, man, you're up 10 at the half. How hard was that Super Bowl to even now? How hard is it to stomach?
Man, it was tough because you knew it just took one stop, stop.
Yeah, who knows better than you, right?
We in there the whole time, like, one stop, y'all. We get one stop, we got this game because Jalen, them boys was on fire, man.
That's right.
But I gotta say Mahomes was on fire too, because them boys scored more than we did. So I know that when the first half came, we was in there. I was more thinking like, man, what's the name went in there on the sideline? He looking like he hurting. Well,
Patrick Mahomes. Yeah,
we got to get to him, and he came out. I mean, you can tell how tough he is, man. But that boy acted good. He sure put that face up like.
Hey, BG. What was the conversation like during the second half? Did it ever get real tense with the defensive guys? Because every time Kansas City got the ball, they went down and scored. They went down and scored. They went down and scored. Did the conversations on the sideline get tense at times?
You know what? It was more about this like, a little bit of the surface, especially us linemen. You need that traction to be able to get off the block. And we were slipping a lot. And I mean, I don't make excuses. I just know that that's what it was when we talking about like what was being talked about. It was just, us trying to get out of our own head a little bit too. Yeah. Because, that we knew we had a good man. I'm telling you, that O-line, boy, they got blessed. I say that.
Brandon, did you know, like even warm-ups, like, man, something's up here with this. Did you guys know right away? I just knew that, when I seen Sweaty, because when we looked at the film, man, it was a couple times where if Sweaty don't slip, boy, strip sack. Oh my God! Especially that first drive when he threw it across the middle to Kelsey.
Yep.
He was right there, man. He slipped. We could not believe it. Like when I looked at the film, I finally looked at it. It was just like, man, oh man, we gonna get that on the get back. It's coming back. That's coming back. But like I said, credit to Kansas City, man. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? Them boys, they played too. They played on that surface too. And I heard that they got the same surface that they got right there on that field at their place and Vegas do. So we ain't gonna. Hey, if we gonna win, we gotta go through. We gotta go through the battle. And so if that's what they putting out, that's what we gotta do. We gotta go out there and rise up through adversity.
There you go. All right, BG on the Super Bowl. He one of the other takeaways I noticed, Eric, he is he's always a positive guy, but I found him to be very confident, like that this team's getting back. Like they're unfinished business is the mindset with this team. And I know you're always kind of going to get that from athletes, but without overtly saying it, BG was saying it like, dude, we're getting back there, and this time we're not got the same mistake happen again.
Well, when you look at the nucleus on this team, you can understand his confidence. The offense is intact. One of the most explosive offenses in the league is intact. Do they have question marks on defense? Yes. How quickly can that defense gel? That's a question we won't find out until the season unfolds. But they do have people at the key positions on defense, frontline cornerbacks, edge rushers, and D tackles. The big question mark is the linebacking core. How will that hold up and how will it mesh to make that unit a formidable foe for every team that they face in the National Football League? As far as BG talking about the Super Bowl game itself, San Francisco 49ers take notes, because as soon as that game was over, Nick Sirianni, all of his players then and to today, said they are not making any excuses. Two teams had to play in unfavorable conditions on that field surface, and one team just made two more plays than the Eagles did on that day. Plain and simple. They're not hemming and hawing about the slippery surface and how that was their 12th man. How that field surface was Kansas City's 12th man. And if you remember the game, a lot of times when you saw Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick slip down, the opposing tackles would fall on top of them so they couldn't get back up in a hurry.
Right.
So they used that. They figured that out real quick and used that to an advantage. And kudos to them for figuring that out.
Yeah.
Did it negate the Eagles' speed off the edge? Yes, it did. But Kansas City's defense, which was not a shutdown defense, it was an opportunistic defense, which is what it was the entire season. They played on the same surface. They got a stop when they had to get a stop. The Eagles did not. And the Eagles players say to a T, hey, that's on us, not them, not the field conditions. Kudos to the Eagles for standing up like that.
I agree. They have not used it they're not an excuse-making bunch, that's for sure. All right. Here's what we'll do. We're going to play some more Brandon Graham in a little bit. But when we come back, Tom McCarthy's going to join us. We'll talk some Phillies with Tom and what happened last night, how there were certain pitchers not available after an off day, looking ahead because it's Aaron Nola tonight. Nola's going to have to, be good tonight, Derek, if they want to win this series, because you got to get the next two.
I don't feel good about this one.
Yeah, we'll see. So far, it has been up and down. That's for sure for Aaron Nola. All right, we're going to time out. We'll come back. We'll talk to Tom McCarthy. Don't go anywhere. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I'll tell you right now about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Knowing who to trust, finding that right person that you can trust with your hard-earned money is very, very difficult, and it's critical, okay? But Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, he is that person, and they are those people. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, you might have a small business and you're trying to get your employee benefits off the ground. It's another resource that Jim can help you with. I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be too. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can also email him, Murray, MURRAY, .jim@principal.com. That's murray.jim@principal.com.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild wood days.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
EAGLES, Eagles.
All right, welcome back, my friends. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. Hanging out with you on this Wednesday. Always great. Our next guest was the very first guest of the show, Derek. Let's not forget that.
Did we ever give him gifts? Did he ever get gifts? Anything? Gift card?
The check is in the mail, I believe it. But you know how the mail service is sometimes. It can take a little while to get them to the McCarthy, compound. It's not easy. There's a lot of layers that it needs to go through. We'll see. Let's bring him up right now. The great television voice of the Philadelphia Phillies, Tom McCarthy. Tom, did that reach the house yet? That check that Derek sent?
It didn't. But my mom sent a Christmas card. She said too, and that hasn't gotten here either. So I mean, I think any day now, any day.
My aunt used to tape dimes in a card and send it to me for Christmas. So maybe that's probably what Derek sent you
Funny.
if it was even that much. I'm not sure, Tom.
That's funny. That's
good to see you, my friend. Tough one last night, for sure. The thing that drives you crazy is Ranger was dealing again. And Tom, he has just been absolutely last 4 or 5 starts, just flat out awesome.
Yeah, and I think years ago we would have talked about him going 120 pitches and not even blinked about it. But obviously in this day and age, 100 pitches or just slightly above is all that a starting pitcher is going to give. Now, not every starting pitcher, but most of them nowadays. And, hindsight, you look at it and think, man, if he could have just gone one more inning, then you get Soto and Kimbrel, and then maybe it's a different story. Maybe it's still 1-1. You're battling for some runs, but that wasn't the case. But he was really good. I mean, it's such a refreshing thing to see because he obviously got off to such a slow start. His ERA was up over 10, and now it's getting down toward the 3s, and that's a really big deal, particularly for this team moving forward.
Tom, you're such a baseball purist, and I was telling Rob, and I've told him time and time again, I thoroughly enjoy the consummate pitching duels. And before the game yesterday, I was telling Rob, between Strider and Suarez, I could see this being one of those 2-1, 1-0 type games. Sure enough, they were pitching lights out. You've watched and called so many games. Which game do you prefer? The fan favorite now, the 10-9 games, or the 1-0, 2-1 type games?
I still would prefer to lean toward 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, that kind of a game where there's some strategy. I love offense with the best of them. I love the walk-off home run. I love all that kind of stuff. But I do love, pitchers' duels. Now, it's different because both of those guys only went 6 innings yesterday.
I know.
Strider had a lot of strikeouts. That's part of his reason for doing it. But it's a little different than it used to be. Like I really liked watching Zach Wheeler pitch the other day against the Oakland A's.
Yep.
He didn't have his great fastball, but he had everything else. So I do enjoy that part of it. And I will say this, admittedly, if you hit me on a different day, I may lean the other way if I'm bored, if I feel like the game's getting boring. I didn't feel like last night's game was boring. I just felt like the Phillies left some opportunities out there that they would love to have back.
Yeah, that's the thing, Tom. You look at it, 1 for 12 with runners in position, and they leave 8 on. You just felt like early. Like I was at the game, and I'm sitting with my son. I'm like, Strider's giving up 8 hits, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is not good that they only have 1 on the board right now. Are you worried about the offense at all? It didn't really set the world on fire in Oakland either. It feels like you're kind of middling right now. Any concerns on your end there?
Not really, Rob. I mean, I do have some concerns about, toward the bottom of the order, although Marsh did have 3 hits last night, which is a really good thing. But I don't know how sustainable those guys can be, but they shouldn't have to be. Mm-hmm. The other guys should be able to take care of a lot of that. And, would I like to have another bat? Yeah, maybe, but I think that might be getting a little too gluttonous, from an offensive standpoint. I think if the Stars play the way they're supposed to play, I think you're fine. But, nights like last night, you got a really good pitcher on the mound. Would you like to grind out another at-bat from your number 7 hitter or your number 8 hitter? Yeah, I think you would. But ultimately, it's really not their fault when they lose a game like that. I think it's more a collective approach by the top of the order, which I do think is fine. I mean, I really do. There's holes, but everybody has holes. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers, when they came in, I'm like, all right, 1 through 4. They're really good, but after that,
it's a weird drop off with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a new puppy, by the way, and she's
let's see her. Can we see?
Let's see it.
We gotta see what's going on here.
Yeah. So this is Reese.
Oh,
yeah. So she's by my side all the time, and she's just on my feet eating my sneakers while we were talking. And
what breed is Reese?
She's a Bernese Mountain Doodle.
Oh yeah,
that's a beautiful dog, Tom.
Beautiful.
She's good. She's really good. She's a lot of fun, and our 13-year-old Golden Doodle doesn't always see it that way, but
I have Golden Doodle myself. They're great dogs also, but that you could see if Reese is a boy or girl.
Reese is a girl.
She's pretty laid back.
Right now she is. I don't know if she's camera shy, but she wasn't a few minutes ago. Okay. She took at least 8 things out of my office, including some wires that I hadn't seen in a long time in my office.
Oh boy,
when my ISDN line was working. So I don't know where those are. I did see there was one of the Rugrats, the redheaded Rugrat that passed by my door. I don't know where she got that from, but she seems to be able to locate a lot of things. So
there you go.
How big will she get when she's fully grown?
You know, we're not totally sure. We're thinking somewhere between 85 and 90 pounds.
Ooh,
but
boy.
you know, she's about 6 months old, so she's not. She just got groomed, so she's not as fluffy as she was, let's say, 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So,
I think a lot of people, Tom, wondering coming off an off day, and forgive me because I was at the game, so I didn't get to hear what you guys were saying during the broadcast. But did you know beforehand that there were guys not Alvarado, Marte, and Strom specifically?
You know, Rob, I got to apologize. I didn't, and usually I do. And Rob doesn't always tell everybody, but he kind of gives us a little bit of an insight of who possibly would be available and who wouldn't be. I just assumed everybody was available, and that's on me for not being on top of it and saying it on the telecast, because I was surprised that Hoffman was in there, and it was the bottom of the order. So, and he's been pretty good. But I was surprised, but that. You know, then you sort of deduce, all right, somebody's not available. I assumed it was Alvarado that wasn't available, but I didn't realize that Marte wasn't available, and I think there was one other pitcher that Rob said wasn't available too. So that to me was a little bit of a surprise off the off day, but I also know they're really being cautious with Alvarado because of coming off the injured list. They do not want to lose him for a long period of time.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, one guy we continuously talk about, and I need your perspective on this. What are we to make of Trey Turner up to this point? Just when you think he's about to turn the corner, he's really not.
Yeah, I just think this has been a struggling first half for him, and it's I will say this, and this isn't a cop out by any stretch, but this is the truth. I mean, he works his tail off. I mean, he's in there before a lot of people. He and Schwarber, they're always in there working with Kevin Long and Jason Camilli. I just think that he's going through something right now on the baseball field, and you know, he does show signs. You're absolutely right, Gunnar. And I think those signs lead you to believe, all right, we're ready to go now. And then he kind of slips back a little bit. I know he's frustrated by it. I don't think this is the Trey Turner that we're going to see for the long term of this deal. I just think that right now he is in a baseball rut, and he's battling his way to get out of it, and he's trying to play his way out of it.
I'll tell you, a positive, a sort of maybe underlying positive lately is, Schwarber's starting to get singles too. Starting to hit the ball up the middle. I mean, look, I love the home runs. Don't get me wrong, but it looks like he's starting to really come around, Tom, as a complete hitter now, as opposed to just the kind of all or nothing, softball, slugger kind of thing.
Yeah, I think Reese, we're going to go in a little bit. Let me talk to Aaron, Rob, will you please? I think that he's going to strike out a lot, and he's going to walk a lot. In fact, the numbers are not as even as I think he would like them to be right now.
Yeah.
But I do think that he is better here in the month of June. Why, I have no idea. But I do think his timing is better. He's starting to creep, and this sounds strange for a leadoff hitter, creep to the 200 mark with his batting average.
Yeah.
And you just kind of hold out hope without really sugarcoating it that he continues to drive in runs. I mean, he's got 20 home runs, and he's on pace for near 100 RBIs, probably less than that. But you just hope that he continues to go through this run of success when it comes to his offense, because, 190 from your leadoff hitter, even though your on-base percentage is over 300, there's a void there sometimes. I mean, there really is. It's only one time through that you're the leadoff hitter, but, there's a void there.
Tom, before yesterday's game, so many people chiming in, on a lot of media airwaves. This is a statement series for the Phillies. They got their revenge against the Dodgers. They got their revenge against Arizona. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, pump the brakes. It's mid-June here. Okay. Yeah. The run is not over. Do you view it as that, or is it just a key series in the journey to get to where you want to go?
I think it's a key series to a journey, but I will say this: we play them one less time at home and one less time on the road. So if there's even a thought of winning the division, they're 9 out right now. Yeah. Like if they win the next 2 to become 7 out, then I'm like, all right, well, you're within reach a little bit. But then you only have one more series at home against these guys later on this year, and one more series in Atlanta. So that changes things a little bit. So my feeling is now, I mean, I'd love to win the division, but I just want to get them into the postseason and match up Wheeler, Nola, and Suarez, or whoever against whoever the big 3 is for those other teams. So I think it's an important series, but I'm not going to say that it's a be all and end all series. I just think they have to win series. I think that's what they have to do at this point.
Yeah, I would agree, Tom. Do you worry at all? I'm not. I personally am not, because I actually like the way he's hitting. Witnessed again by last night, early at least. But Harper with 3 home runs is a concern for you at all, power-wise?
I will say that I'm surprised that he doesn't have more than 3. But I also think that even though he had those sort of quote unquote spring training games against live pitching, that there is still a rhythm that he's got to go to. He hasn't reached his career high in not homering in consecutive games. He's getting closer to that. So I never worry about Bryce, Rob, honestly. I really don't. I mean, it sounds silly from your cleanup hitter that you only have 3 home runs, but I really don't worry about him. I think he's going to be fine, and I think he's going to come out of it. I just want him to maintain his health and get him into the field at some point, whether it be August 1st or July 30th or July 18th, whatever it's going to be, to get him out on the fields.
And he's working hard. We saw him again yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks like. Yep. And Rob Thompson said he's made a liar out of me before when asked if he would maybe be on first base before the All-Star break. So you never say never with that guy. For sure.
No. I don't think it will be then, but I mean, he's working at it. I mean, he is working at it, and it would be important to do it to allow Schwarber to DH a little bit. Now, then they have to figure out who's going to play left field, but that's something that they'll cross when they get down that road.
Hey, Tom, I didn't get a chance to ask you this the last time you were on, just to get away from the here and now for a moment, but I've always wanted to ask you this because you're such a baseball purist and you try to be so objective in your calls, but you're also a fan of baseball and you're a fan of the Phillies because of your association with them. Have you ever been behind the mic, especially in a game, and something goes wrong with the Phillies, they make a gaffe here or there, and you almost spit out something you shouldn't say, and you go back and you say, man, if I had said that, I might have been suspended for a game or a week.
Yes, Derek. I mean, there are times like that. I always have this approach where I describe it. I will editorialize from time to time, but I don't make it sort of a talk show about, he should do X, Y, and Z. I don't think there's a place for that on the broadcast. I will say that there are times where I'll just not say anything and just take a seat back like this and just go. But that's about it. I mean, I get frustrated with the best of them. I mean, I sat there last night wondering, why somebody other than Hoff was in the game. I mean, I did.
Yeah,
exactly.
And, but I also know, and I will say this: Rob Thompson's one of the best managers I've ever dealt with.
Yep.
There's a reason. So I know there's a reason. And instead of taking it down and peeling it back at the moment, I do feel like I owe it to him and to the telecast to let him explain it and go from there.
Mm-hmm. The reason I asked you that was because there were 2 instances last night where I'm sitting there watching. I can't believe this. One was the Real Muto trying to stretch the single into a double.
That way he should have done that.
Game.
Yes.
And secondly, Acuna just walks to third base, and you see Alex Bohm looking down at earthworms. You're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Funny. It's funny. My stat guy Larry Costigan said to me earlier in the game. He said, watch Acuna Jr. when he gets on second base, and he's done it like 4 times before, where he peeks and looks at the third baseman, and if he sees a distance and a head down or a turn, he did it against the Dodgers. He's off and running. And I'll be honest with you, I totally forgot about it until he did it. And I was like, oh, man. So, yeah, that's frustrating. As it turned out, it was okay.
Right.
But I do. It just doesn't have that good look to it. Honestly.
It's bad optics.
Yeah. It's really bad optics.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, Reese has got a guitar in her mouth right now. I don't know where that came from.
Maybe she could play a little for us.
It's one of those PlayStation guitars.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
You just send her on a scavenger hunt for you. You'd be amazed what you might find.
Yeah, I think you're in trouble with Reese, Tom.
I'm telling you, when I walked out before and I saw all the stuffed animals, and I don't have any young kids, but I have nieces and nephews. I'm like, where did you get all of these?
She's discovering things you guys haven't played with in years in the house. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I love it. Let me ask you about Nola. He goes tonight. I know it's frustrating for Phillies fans because it seems like there's the 1 inning implosion. And
the 4th inning has been that inning this year.
Yeah, maybe like second time around the order, whatever the case may be, or out of the stretch. Or I know you guys chronicled it very well in his I think it was still in Arizona at the time. Either whether that's the stretch or the pitch clock. Do you think they have an idea how to attack this, Tom, or work for, or is it sometimes there's only so much a coach can do? There's only so much Caleb Coppin can do, and it's got to be on Aaron to figure this thing out.
Well, I do think it has to be on Aaron to figure it out because they have worked on it, and Aaron's worked on it too. I mean, as you guys know, I mean, he is a workaholic when it comes to his game. There's something from the stretch that people are seeing, whether it be the opposing team or he's not finishing the way he finishes from the windup. I don't know what it is. I mean, think about his last outing. He gave up those 4 runs in the 1 inning and then didn't work from the stretch and looked fantastic for the next several innings. So I do think I think it's pitch clock. I think that there's something mechanically that is off. But I watched them 2 days ago work on all these different things. They're working on the pitch clock. They're working on, giving him extra time. They're working on where his glove is with the ball, with certain pitches, things like that. So, I'm hoping that he breaks through. But it's the stretch that seems to affect him more than anything else.
Yeah, it's concerning. I mean, that's for sure, because let's face it, for the most part, other than the 5th spot, which we know can be, up and down a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else is doing their job, man. Wheeler looks like Wheeler again. Ranger, we just mentioned, and how about Taijuan Walker? The adjustments he made, Tom, in between starts, which have really seemed to benefit him.
Yeah, he's talked about the conditioning, like he's taking ground balls in between starts to get his heart rate up and get his conditioning into a better spot. I think that's a really good thing. I mean, he's trying to stand mechanically more upright when he's on the mound. That seems to have helped him a lot too. Yeah, the 5th spot, and for the most part, they can win with what Aaron's doing as long as it's not 6 runs or 5 runs. If it's 3 or 4, they can win those games. But yeah, the rest of it, I mean, overall, the rotation, it's a sub-2 ERA over the last 15 games, and that's huge for them. And they're averaging 6 innings per outing, and that's even bigger.
Yeah.
I would love to see 7, but we don't see that in this day and age anymore. No. So, I think you got to be happy with 6.
Yeah, 1-7-2 in their last 16 games. That's
yeah.
how good the rotation. I mean, that's
great. You take that any day.
That's dominant. All right, I got to ask you, over the weekend, there was a foul ball hit into the radio booth, and Kevin Stocker caught it. Like, incredible, right? Incredible play. You, of course, are known for the broadcast game where you're sitting out in the outfield. You have your glove. We see your gloves behind you, by the way, in the shot.
Yep.
You have your glove on. Incredibly, you make the catch as you're making the call and didn't skip a beat. Ridiculous. Are you guys doing another game in the outfield? Or are we going to have another one of these experiences?
It's funny. We are, and they told me the date, and I can't remember what it is, but we're going to be out at in Ashburn Alley. There's the standing room only area that's up above where we sat previously. That's where we're going to be this time. So, yeah, it's coming up. In fact, I should know the date. They've told me 8 million times, but I have forgotten it 8 million times also. But yeah, all of us will be out there. It's going to be great. I love doing that kind of stuff. I think it's awesome.
That's awesome.
I think it's a great marketing strategy to put you guys out there amongst the people. But
yeah,
do you guys sit there and wonder, man, please don't let somebody drop an F-bomb or something like that during the broadcast?
Well, yeah. I mean, we always feel that way when we're in the crowd and when Pete Rose is with us. Yeah, we definitely do that. But I also think that there's some latitude that's given if we're out in the crowd like that. Crowd mics pick up so much stuff now that, yes, I do worry about that sometimes. A lot of that's out of my control, but I do worry about that sometimes.
Long way of answering that bad boy. Tom, last one. As good as the Phillies have played, excluding last night, of course, they've made up like no ground here. I mean, the East is nasty. The Braves, we just saw it last night. What the Marlins have been doing, a rise out of his mind, batting 400. Yeah. This is going to be a tough slog here, man. And all of a sudden, Cincinnati's real. Like, the wild card is going to be nuts.
It's going to be nuts. I mean, I do look at Cincinnati as being that spark plug team that does fade at some point. Maybe I'm wrong because they do have some prospects. I mean, Sean Pender's a really good friend of mine. He's the vice president of player development. He's the former St. Joe's head baseball coach, as you guys probably know.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of prospects. I mean, whether they can come up and help, I don't know. The Giants, to me, are shockingly playing well. I am surprised by it. But the division's been great. I mean, think about all the streaking that's been going. The top 3 records in June are the top 3 teams in the National League East. Now, the Phillies may have slipped past the top 3 because of their loss last night, but as of last night, they were. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited about being in the mix again. I do think they'll make a trade to get better in some spots, but we'll see. I mean, it's good to be in the mix. And the thing about the Marlins that's a little scary is that Alcantara has one of their worst ERAs, and he's the reigning Cy Young Award winner.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm shocked their offense has been as effective as it is. That's the thing. I thought they would pitch, but I'm
surprised too. I mean,
why would the Twins give up on a rise?
Because they needed pitching, and Pablo Lopez to me was a really good guy to get, and they also got, again, this is projectability. They got the Marlins, I think, number one infield prospect or number one prospect. Okay. So they project that he will be part of their franchise moving forward. I think this is better. I mean, Arise won the batting title last year. Bill Madlock was traded after a batting title. You just don't usually trade a batting champion. Yeah, but maybe they thought that was lightning in the bottle, but that lightning's gotten pretty bright right now.
Yeah, it has. All right, Tom, listen, looking forward to tonight, man. 6:40. You got Aaron Nola on the hill. NBC Sports Philadelphia. Check it out. You guys do an awesome job. We're big fans, and we appreciate you giving us some time. Tom.
Thanks, guys.
And try and control Reese. You got,
Well, just so you know, as we were wrapping this up, I don't know what this is, but it's a blow-up-looking Rock'em Sock'em thing.
Oh, God.
That was in her mouth going forward. I don't think it's blowing up anymore, just so you guys know.
You are in trouble, my friend. All right, Tom, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming.
All right, guys, be good.
All right, take care. We all here, Gunner. Yeah, I'll just be sitting there, right? And I'm always here's what I'm always leery about. My dog loves socks, right? She loves socks.
Yeah.
I'm scared of them swallowing the sock, right? And we know how that can go. That's bad news, right? And anytime, like, I see her and she knows she's doing wrong, she gives me that look. And then I got to chase her around, trying to get the sock out of her mouth. It's a cat and mouse game, as they say, Derek. Every single time I try and get that done.
I have these two small dogs I have. One is a white Chihuahua. And like I said, it's an overgrown Chihuahua. It's like 12, 13 pounds. And he moves around so silent. He follows me everywhere. And I turn around sometimes and I almost step on him. I don't even know he's behind me sometimes.
Right.
I have to be really careful because, I could trip over him. He's always under my feet. And I told my wife, I said, if I step on this dog, we have two options. You're going to pay astronomical figures to have surgery, or he's going to have to meet Jesus. And when I have friends that have paid $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
I know.
To have a dog go through a surgery, and I'm thinking, would I pay $5,000?
I know. Like, same here, but like that's a real serious dilemma. I got to tell you,
man,
it's not an automatic yes if I'm keeping it real.
Same here. I got to think about that one real quick. And I've had a lot of friends who tell me you should get pet insurance. Now, you can only get pet insurance up to a dog being a certain age. After that, it's like they won't insure your pets. And I never did it, and I should have. I didn't do it. And I'm thinking, man, that's a real tough dilemma because I know everybody's going to be in tears in the house if you have to prematurely put a dog down for any reason.
Oh, I know.
We've gone through that twice already with dogs, and
it's the only downside. It's the only downside.
Man.
That's for sure. All right, so we're going to come back. We didn't get to all the Brandon Graham clips that we had. We're going to play. We got a couple more for you that we'll play. We'll do sort of a state of Philadelphia sports in general, and we may have a couple of pictures from the D-Gun archive that we have uncovered. We may have those as well. So you want to stick around? Trust me. All right. You do not want to miss this. Tell a friend, wake up the pets, do all that stuff. All right. We'll do that when we get back. Don't go anywhere. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right. Let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration is the place that you reach out to if your business, a property you own, your home goes through the pain, the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, mold damage. You name it, they can handle it. I went through it personally. And the beauty is Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. So I called them on a Saturday and they got right out. They fixed the problem. Good as new. And it couldn't have been a better experience. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, it could be water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation. You name it, they can handle it. Give them a call. 610-623-3760. 610-623-3760, or you can reach them online. ProActionRestoration.com. That's ProActionRestoration.com. JAKIBSports.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Google TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
For the big story on Action News,
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
All right, did you know I was the mommy slam dunk champion?
Really?
Yes, really don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake a mama. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
again.
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
EAGLES, Eagles.
All right, we're back. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn.
What are you smirking about?
Because I know what we're about to see. That's what I'm smirking at.
So let me preface this by saying,
Okay.
thank goodness my wife is in meetings right now because I would not be able to finish this show today. I'm telling you right now. That's all.
Okay, Tone. Do we have these? If we do, let's go one at a time. Let's go one at a time. Let's roll it. Here we go. That is Derek and Trish. Oh my God. So the hat is phenomenal. Look at the sunglasses. That looks like a young, like Dr. J, man. Like there's a lot going on there. That shirt. Look at the collar.
I know, man. Look at that collar on that shirt.
And then the whole the collar color, and then the red goes right down the middle too. That's not a scarf you're wearing, right? That's the shirt.
That's the shirt, dude. Yep. We were on, let's see, that's Mission Beach in San Diego. Oh my goodness. We were like 19 or 20 years old.
Late 70s, right? It's got to be late 70s.
Yes. Yep. Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at Trish's hair,
But
man.
look at the fro back in the day, man.
I know. That is Gunner. That's a badass hat, man. That is awesome.
Hey, man, hey, that hat was in style before rap came out. Remember all the early rappers used to wear the bucket hat and stuff? I was rocking that before it was even popular, man.
We're getting a lot of reaction off of this, man. A lot of reaction.
I told you, man, I was Lincoln Hayes from the Mod Squad back then, man.
Yep, looking like Shaft. Let's Sugar Bear. Yes. Yes.
You know, D.
Yes.
was a pimp.
Yes.
Sean,
Father Sean, ready for Soul Train? Oh my God, this is awesome. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love it. I love it. This is phenomenal. All right, so
man.
Tone, let's go. Let's keep them rolling, man. We're not even done. You guys thought we were done with that one? We're not done. We got a couple others here. All right, so that was just the entree. Oh, look how cute. Look at you, man. And you got the whole, what do you have going on there in the is that a pen in the ear? That's not a cigarette, is it?
No, pen, dude, not a cigarette.
All
Pen
right.
in the ear, dude. Yeah.
Can I first piece of advice, maybe clean your windshield a little bit. Look at that thing.
Dude, it's a desert region, man. It's no matter how many times you wash your car, it's dusty. As soon as you come out of
looks
a
like
car
the birds had a field day on that bad boy.
Hey, but you see that car I'm sitting on right there?
Yeah.
That car was a 98 Olds Regency my dad gave me to go to California with. Let me tell you
Wait, not a
something.
98. 90, that was the name of the model. Wasn't the year.
The make and model was a 98 Olds Regency. And let me tell you something. That car had powder blue cloth interior seats. It had 4 doors, power windows, power seats, power everything back in the day. My dad hooked me up, man.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. I look at you, man. Look at Trent. Look how happy. That's a beautiful young couple right there, man.
But she ain't happy these days.
Well, she won't be after this. All right, so we got one more, Tone. Did we get the other one too? All right, Tone's going to bring the other one up as well.
Oh, geez.
See, we are bringing it today. I'm in the crawl space. You're pulling stuff out from the 70s. This is like beautiful, man. A lot of archived footage here that's happening. The chat section's going bananas over this. All right, last one that we have. Check this out. All right, so here's the next one.
Oh,
look at you. Now, what does the shirt say?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. Okay. Milwaukee. All right. You got
representing home city, baby.
You got the visor on, so you can let the fro with it's like a sunroof. You let the fro go out of the visor. Right. I like it, man. Yeah.
Hey, look, man.
Dude.
Here's why I did it, Rob.
You
are such a good sport, making fun of yourself. I said, you know what? I got to jump in. I got to go back. And, it's my turn.
Yes.
I'm always taking playful shots at you.
Yes.
I said, I'm gonna give you your opportunity now. But yeah, this picture was in her mom and dad's house back in the day. Man, we started dating when we were 19 and we got married at 23.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Tone, appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Good for you, Derek. Good for you, man. You showing us the old school stuff. I love it. I love it. We should do like a show and tell day every day. Just here you go. Something from back in the day, but very cool. That was funny, man. That was entertaining. I got to tell you.
Who would have known? Who would have known that she would? The number one, I could fool her into marrying me, and number two, that she would stick with me through all these years.
Yeah, it's one thing to fool her into marry. The other thing is to maintain over the next 40 years, like you have. That's the true.
Man.
That's the true gift, right there.
My brother would always say early in our marriage, he would always say, "You two ain't gonna last 5 years," because we're both the oldest kids in the family. The oldest kids always have that dominant personality.
Yeah.
Two strong-willed individuals. And my brother would always say, you two ain't going to last. And then even that, and when my kids got my brother was here recently, surprised me for my birthday. And through the years, he's always asked my kids and my wife, have you ever seen your dad's temper? And I would always tell him, would you please shut up? Just shut up. Let sleeping dogs lie, man. Because back in the day, there were times back in the day, man, I didn't know if I was going to make it, man. Woo!
I hear you, man. Gigi, we will. I promise you, we'll get that set up. We will. Well, I'm going to make it a point to get that taken care of. And Tone's
we got to get the chat. We got to get the chat.
When Tone gets on it, it's going to get done. So I will. Yeah. We will get it. We promise. We will. It's only fair to you guys to be able to share stuff with us too. So we will get on it. Promise. All right, we didn't finish everything up with Brandon Graham. We wanted to, again, go back and check it out. We're Jason Kelsey tomorrow at 1:00. So make sure you're locked in for that. So we heard from him about Sean Desai. We heard from him about the difficulty of the Super Bowl. I want to talk. I want to hear the cut from Nolan Smith, because Nolan Smith has some similarities to Brandon from a size standpoint. He's a guy who's going to be used on the edge, but I don't think is solely just an edge guy. He can do some things in the run game as well. But most of the impressions that you're hearing from fellow players and the media are very favorable regarding Nolan Smith. So here's what BG had to say yesterday with us regarding Nolan Smith, Eagles' 30th overall pick. Because we were talking about the young guys, and we're like, we don't not on a bad way. We just don't know them well enough. Jordan seems like a real personable kid. Yeah,
he's funny, man. Him and what's the name though? He's like me for real. Nolan
Smith.
Yeah, Nolan already kind of embracing it all and just enjoying just being here, man. I could see his attitude, carrying him far, just making sure that he go out there and play. That's the number one thing. You got to make sure you ball out at least. But I do love that he came in right away, just ready to work and, excited to pick our brains. And, you can tell that he really taking this serious.
That's cool. We've heard a lot of good stuff about him. And everybody says he looks bigger in person than what we were told. Yeah, you went through that too, the undersized thing, and Reddick went through it too. And now Nolan had to deal with that as well.
Yep. So, I think you know how I go. Just go out there and play. Ain't nobody gonna worry about none of them measurables.
Hey man, you're 35 now. Do you feel like the old man on the team? You got a bunch of kids, 21, 22. Do you feel? Is his father time creeping up on you?
Hey, you know what? The way I'm moving, man, I'm just out there, just teaching lessons and letting them boys think that I'm old until I'm out there hit you with a. Hey, but no, it's been it's been a great just journey as far as like my role now on this team. I can even see it changing even more this year, especially if Nolan doing what he do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to make sure I serve them boys, man, because at the end of the day, when they need me, I'm gonna stay ready for sure. But I just don't know. I'm just going into it, just like whatever. I done made it to the promised land. I done had, my fun. I'm gonna still have my fun even this year. But I'm not going to put no pressure on anything. I know my reps gonna go down because we're trying to get these boys ready for the future. So I'm excited just to help them and give them all the game that I have to be able to, help them. Like I told them, I want to see you win. That's it. I mean, I know what it feels like, and I'm at that point now where I done won everything I wanted to do in this football life, and I just want to make sure I pay it back by giving it to them boys. And I'm happy that they really taking this serious, because me, Jalen, all the guys, man, we do a lot of stuff afterwards, because I didn't get a chance to be a part of the field stuff. So we would lift, and they would do some stuff with me after every lift that we did during the week, Monday through Thursday. And man, them boys, I could just see that we building something even more special than we did this year.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. And always with the thought of the team. What's best for the team? Making the younger guys better is what's best for the team, even if it means my numbers have to suffer. That soundbite right there, I think, defines Brandon Graham. Like, just what he's always been about is the right thing.
Could not have said it any better. In this stage of his career, football players want their reps, man, especially if they have bonuses attached to it or anything else. But, Brandon Graham said it last year when he was on the show before the season. He knew his reps were going to go down. He was fine with that. Mm-hmm. He reiterates it again now. Brandon Graham doesn't care about his individual numbers. Obviously, money was not the ulterior motive for him coming back to sign here. He wants another shot out of the ring, that one moment, that one shining moment, that one final glory moment. And who knows, if he won another ring this season, this might be the year he rides off into the sunset, Even if he doesn't win, he might ride off into the sunset anyway. But, Brandon Graham has always been about trying to make us better. Not me better, but us better, And when you have a personality like that and a mindset, it can't do nothing but trickle down to those who are following you. I was on Birds 365 this morning, and John McMullen brought up how, from what they've seen, that Nolan Smith is like a Brandon Graham point too, always out there, chirping and chatting. I said, we're going to have to go through this again. But you know what? I also said Nolan Smith has to know he has to wait his time also. He's a new kid on the block. Show your personality to a certain point, but also, more importantly, show what you can do on the football field. Now, if he excels on the football field like we all hope he does, then we'll see more of that personality as he progresses as a professional athlete. But I think it's refreshing that now you have Brandon Graham Part 2 waiting in the wings for this organization.
Well, Nolan Smith is in the sort of unique category, Derek, that a couple of these guys were in last year. Like if barring injuries, you're not going to have to count on him to do a ton, or at least you shouldn't theoretically.
Right.
So that's where it's kind of like Jordan Davis last year and Nakobe Dean last year and a couple other guys. Whereas at other spots, Jalen Carter's going to have to step in and play and perform.
Yep.
Jordan Davis now has to step in and perform. Maybe Juergens, maybe Steen, one of those two is going to have to step in and perform. Blankenship's going to step in and perform.
Right.
Nolan Smith's about the only one that I mean the higher round picks that could maybe not be really counted on a ton, at least this year. All right, let me give you the last one here from Brandon that we have available for you. And this is regarding a lot of the trash talking and a lot of the whining that we've heard from the 49ers in particular, but generally, what kind of drives these guys, what kind of motivates these guys. Here's BG from our interview yesterday.
Game in and game out is so physically and mentally demanding and exhausting in a lot of ways. But part of your game is nonstop chatter when you pick out a player on the other team. A couple of weeks ago, I saw Fletcher Cox on somebody's podcast. I can't remember who it was. And they asked Fletcher about you. He said, man, I got to calm this guy down. He said, I got to keep telling them, man, don't be taking off these people over here and make them mad. And I saw one clip. I couldn't tell what game it was. When you were chirping at somebody and Fletcher said, hey, BG. He screamed at them. You said, what? And then like you woke you up. It's like you get in these zones of start bantering with certain people. Like you tell offensive line, I'm coming at you. You ain't that good today. And I'm thinking, this dude, what is wrong with this dude, man?
Hey,
is that part of your game?
When you play this game, man, you got to take your mind to a different place, And so, like I tell everybody now, I mean, I don't know what this team is yet. I ain't seen nobody get hit in the face yet and see how they bounce back. You know what I'm saying? Because like this league definitely will humble you, and it will see if you really about who you if you really are who you say you are. I would say, because it's not easy. I mean, you have a bad game. Let me see how you come back. Practice. Let me see what you're doing during the week to make sure that you come back a lot stronger, because you're gonna have them ups and downs. It's gonna be us as the leaders to be able to help some of the guys, a lot of guys that ain't been there before, these new guys that came in that had this Georgia, success. And sometimes it don't always translate right away like you want to, but you got to keep the faith. You got to keep going, keep working, keep believing in yourself, building that confidence and practice every day that you go out there on that field. You gotta stay with it, because that it's going to tell you on so many levels why you shouldn't, why you can't, because it's gonna be guys that's just cold out here, man. They not look like it's just natural. You know what I'm saying for them, but they putting that work in every day too, and they taking these reps serious every chance they get. They making sure they knowing what to do and just going out there and having that confidence on Sunday because of what they put in during the week. So that's where I start to judge, when I start to see how these guys taking during the week. Because it's that's what it's about. Because that ain't like you can go out there on Sunday and get lucky one game, maybe two, but let's see how consistent you be, because you got to stay consistent in this league, and it ain't.
Yep, well said. When you do it for as long as he has, you could talk about consistency. That's for sure. He's not a one-hit wonder. No doubt about that. So good stuff. And again, Jason Kelsey tomorrow at 1:00 will be joining us. All right.
Correct. Kelsey just hit me up now. He said, D-Gun, I messed up. Can I do 2:00? I'm like, okay.
All right.
So now Kelsey at 2:00. And he finally sent me his email address. So that's semi-confirmation that he will be here.
That makes me feel a little bit better. Yes. So pull the curtain for a second. So sometimes there are certain guests that we can lock in and we know that guest is going to be like it's a done deal. Right. Forget it. And this is not to say that Jason is not an accountable guy or anything, but sometimes with certain guests, you it's especially athletes, you hold your breath a little bit. Like they're probably going to be good, but you never quite know. And you want to promote something as much as possible because you want people to know about it in case it happens, but you're always sort of like, oh God,
cross
please
your
be
fingers.
on time. please just remember, because I've had guys honestly just forget, or the wife ran out and he had to go do something, and it's like, and we get burned, and then people are like, dude, you said so and so was going to be on at this time, and I'm like, we thought they were, but sometimes you never know. But yes, looks like 2:00 tomorrow, as Chuck Wooler used to say. Remember that 2 minutes and 2 seconds?
Right.
He would say that for the Love Connection.
Yeah, you have a contingent of players who are just, oh man, Deacon, I forgot I told you. My bad, man. Can I do it next week? No. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Kelsey's got so much on his plate with the podcast and stuff. You know, he's like a Chris Long. You know, hey, Deacon, I'm trying to squeeze you in here. I'm trying to squeeze you in there. You know, I get it. You know, if we get him, it's kudos for us. If we don't get him tomorrow, we'll get him eventually. If nothing else, out of guilt, I'll lay the guilt trip on him and get him at some point.
And look, we've had guys like Chris on before. Chris is great. So but that's another guy we'll try and get on before the football season starts and all those kind of things. So yeah, we're looking forward to Jason tomorrow, and he's got his big event coming up down at the Jersey Shore. Actually, the following week, June 28th. So what's today? The 20. Yeah, about a week. It's a week from today.
21st?
Yeah. So it's a week from today. So we'll talk to Jason about all those kind of things and the podcast, et cetera, et cether. This is interesting, Derek, just to kind of jump off football for 1 second to the NBA. So the league, according to Shams Charania and a bunch of other insiders who are all over this kind of stuff, they put out their updated financial figures for the 23-24 season, the upcoming season. There's a 10% maximum increase. So the $136 million salary cap is $2 million higher than many projected originally. There's a $165 million luxury tax. That's $3 million higher than some people projected. So that's going to help both athletes and teams. For example, according to our buddy Derek Bodner, gives the Sixers a few more million under the aprons, meaning the luxury tax aprons, to work with. Also pockets Joel Embiid an extra $3 million over the course of his contract because his supermax kicks in this season and there's more money this season. So it helps both. The other interesting thing, again, it's a little bit, but every little bit helps, I guess. Montrezl Harrell has opted out of his player option, which would have been $2.7 million. So that gives them also a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more to try and find somebody that can complement what you need, a shooter or whatever, a wing. So Harrell opts out. There's no way he's back as a Sixer. He and his agent must think he's getting more than that 2.7 somewhere, or multiple years. So that's good for a roster spot, and that's good for more money. That helps. It's a little bit, but it helps.
It does, especially a team that's so handcuffed like the Sixers. Anything they can get to help them make better decisions, hopefully, in terms of strengthening this roster, is a plus. To me, it's still not enough to get the kind of player you need to get in here to complement what you have. But, you know, it's more than what you had. You know, that's all you can ask. It's some kind of breathing room, and who knows, maybe they can get creative enough to move enough people to really shock us all and go out there and make a deal to get somebody in here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've been, saying to you over repeatedly, like I don't see it. Not hopeful here. But this is where you need Daryl Morey to act like an elite GM and figure it out, and figure out a way to make this happen. And maybe it starts tomorrow night at the draft. It's why you should at least casually keep an eye on it, even though it looks like there's nothing for the Sixers right now in terms of draft picks, because there could be a trade made.
Nope, not going to do it. Between people texting me, my laptop, my phone, I have all the notification I need to watch that, to find out what's going on in the draft. And then, of course, later in the night, I'll go back on my laptop and recap what went down in the NBA, so we can get ready to talk about it the next day. But I cannot. There's no way I can actually honestly say that I'm going to sit in front of a camera for more than 2 minutes to watch that draft tomorrow. I just can't.
Look, I get it. I know where you're coming from. And again, like I said, it holds less luster than any draft I can remember in a really, really long time. Did you see this one? We're going to get to our NFL segment in a minute, but Aaron Rodgers is scheduled to speak at a psychedelics conference in Colorado about why he thinks ayahuasca boosts performance. I am not kidding you, man. Your boy.
Conference, everybody's sitting in the audience like this.
That's your boy, man. Now, are you done with him? Like, how do you view him now that he's an ex-Packer? How do you view him?
Wish him success unless he's playing the Packers.
Right.
You held that team for hostage for 3 years. You know what? I don't begrudge anybody. You know, you hate to see him move on, especially when you know you have to get worse. What's left behind has to get worse before it gets better in terms of wins and losses. You know, if he goes there and excels in the twilight of his career, hey, more power to him. I know when Brett Favre left and left and went to the Jets, and then of course he went to Minnesota. Man, people wanted to burn. People were burning his jersey, so on and so forth.
That's like an Eagle going to the Cowboys. I mean,
yes,
right.
Yeah. I will never get to that point about any athlete that comes through my hometown of Milwaukee. You know what? It didn't work out here. You ran its course here. You move on elsewhere. Now, if they turn around and beat the team you root for, then obviously it's like a kick in the gut. But for the most part, I mean, like we all will. Anybody who watches football will have their eyes on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets because now so much is expected of them. They had such a good defense. They had all this personnel on offense. They lost a great young running back. Running back's coming back. You brought in more weapons. You know, Garrett Wilson exceeded anybody's expectations as a rookie with nobody throwing him the ball, basically. Mm-hmm. You got a lockdown young corner over there. And there's a lot of excitement around the Jets, and rightfully so. And there's a lot of intrigue across the National Football League in terms of what this Jets team is going to look like. Can they go toe-to-toe and swing with Miami and Buffalo? That's going to be interesting to watch. And I'm like everybody else. I'm going to watch it and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go from the very unique position of sort of last year, maybe sneaking up on teams, to target on their back with that one move, you know, with that one acquisition. It's crazy, but it's true. I mean, they're literally now. I think you ask anybody around the league, if they don't make the playoffs, it's a huge disappointment.
Yes, absolutely.
When was the last time we had those kind of expectations for the Jets? It's been a long time. Yeah,
it's like talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, right. But
you just
Jake,
expect them to go for the season, and that's it.
Jake, I must know what the snacks are at this conference, the Aaron Rodgers conference.
Yeah, really. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
dude, you going to a psychedelic conference?
It'll be interesting.
I wonder if they have samples for everybody in the audience also.
I don't know. Could be fun. Could be interesting. All right, let's do this.
Colorado, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's legal in Colorado, so you can go outside the building, inside the building, wherever you want.
Well, certainly weed is. I don't know about the hallucinogens, but yeah, we'll I don't know.
The peyote conference.
God bless you. Ayahuasca, baby. All right, let's get a timeout. Come back. NFL talk. We'll get into a bunch of different things, including, Derek, our series on the greatest, meaning the best players for each organization over the years. Yesterday, we did the Steelers. We're going to do the New York Football Giants. Today, the NFL cracking down again, just trying to really send the message again to their players about the gambling stuff. Some players on the move, one maybe in trouble, a lot of stuff to get to. We'll do all of that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. He's Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take. All right, let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. They are an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face, and they are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, it's a great time of year to get the trees evaluated. You don't want something bad happening once the summer with the rains and the heavy winds come, and you have branches coming down, trees coming down. We know, what that could look like. You go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
EAGLES, Eagles.
We're back. Yes, we are. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, you thought we were done with the D-Gun catalog from the late 70s, early 80s. You thought we were done. You thought you had enough. Guess what? Nope. We got another one. Cowboy Derek Gunn. Woo! Yee wee doggies. Woohoo! What is going on? What is going on with that lid, man? What is happening here?
Look, dude, back then in the Southwest and the West, you know, the cowboy look was huge, man. That is a legit Stetson hat.
That's a badass hat.
And this was early in my TV career, and Stetson hats were expensive back then. Back then, that hat was like close to $100.
Yeah, that's a lot back then. Yeah.
And the cowboy boots, you know, they're still big in like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico.
Sure.
Dude, I had an array of cowboy boots, dude. I had Gator, I had Rattlesnake, a Hopalong D-Gun, Brokeback D-Gun. Man, these people are brutal.
I'm killing you, man. Oh my God. That's great.
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy. Unity.
Man, you people are brutal, man.
Oh, Walking Texas Ranger. Yes, I love it. Oh my God, Cleavon Little.
He said, "Look like Kendrick Lamar's daddy."
This is great, man.
You got Cleavon Little. Man, y'all ain't right, man. Something wrong with y'all, man.
Oh my God, man. This is so good. This is so good, dude. It's so good. Yeah, Walking Texas Gun. I love it.
Hey man, let me tell you something. That I can't, dude. My first job in a business, I made $700 a month.
Yeah, that was a lot of your salary going to that hat, man. Yeah,
I think Trish bought that for me as a gift, if I'm not mistaken. That hat was like between $80 and $100.
Yeah,
back then. That was a lot of money.
We lived. So when I was a kid, for it was only a year. When I was 6, we moved to Houston, Texas. My dad got a job with the Oilers. He worked for the Oilers as the assistant. Wow. Assistant PR director. And you know, we were fishes out of water, to say the least, in Texas. But
Yep.
my dad, I remember my dad had a couple of those kind of hats and a couple of the cowboy boots. And Stetson was the big one, man. That's where Earl Campbell did, commercial. Everybody, they were huge.
Yeah, man. I don't know why I ended up with one. I love that hat, man. I said I was going to keep. I don't know what happened to that hat because when you buy a Stetson, it comes in like a hard cardboard box so you can protect it.
Right.
And I said, I'm keeping this hat the rest of my life. I said, if I ever had kids in life, I got to show my kids this hat. I don't know where the hat is. I don't know what happened to it in all the places I've moved in my lifetime. And I'm like, doggone it. I wish I still had that hat today just so my kids could see it. I would wear it today, if I could find it.
Yeah, I have a lot of those where I'm like, something jogs my memory. Like, whatever happened to that sweatshirt or what? It's like, I love that thing, and it's just gone. You don't know what the heck happened to it, man. But I hear you. Good stuff. Good stuff
right,
there, guys.
Cologne. Stetson did have a cologne, Chris D. You're exactly right.
They did. Yeah, that's right. They did have a cologne. I remember that. All right, let's hit a couple things here, Gunner. Saquon Barkley and the Giants have reopened contract negotiations. I think he put the date was July 17th, which is, I think, coincides or close to when their camp starts.
Right.
So I think this will get done. I think they will reach some kind of an agreement. I don't see them going in with him on the tag and not that he's angry, but being some tension on both sides. I think these two are very motivated to get something done, and I think they'll get something done. I do.
It's the classic off-season, serve and volley move.
Posturing, yeah.
Giants say one thing, Saquon comes out and says, I don't know who's talking, but I've been keeping my business in house. Then an official comes out. Saquon is a very mature person. I believe it's going to get done. And I've always felt that way. When we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, I felt it was going to get done then. Saquon, who knows? I might sit out the season. This team understands that even though the market overall is down on paying running backs, Saquon is a special talent, and he is an integral part to the success of that offense. You don't want to mess that up when you're trying to continue to go up and try to catch the likes of Dallas and the Eagles, in the standings, and make yourself another step better than you were last season in the playoffs. So it doesn't work. The offense doesn't work without Saquon. They understand that. Now it's just a matter of trying to find out where do we fit him in the overall salary structure.
I think, and if you remember a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about it without laying out his teammates, but he said, with all due respect, if I'm not there, do you think this offense basically looks like it looked last year? No chance.
Exactly.
And he's right.
He's
No lies
truth.
were told. Yeah.
No, he's telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So pay the
Exactly.
man. I don't care what the market says about the running back today. There are few running backs who are still exceptions to the rule. Pay that man. Pay the man his money.
Couldn't agree with you more. Look, Gunner, he's got a very checkered past, and he might be in a little bit more trouble. I don't know. Tyreek Hill's being investigated for an altercation that he had with a server at a place. Now, apparently the guy isn't pressing charges, so it might just go away. But, Tyreek Hill walks a fine line, and he's got some really troubling stuff in his past. So you're Miami, you're just kind of holding your breath as you enter the second year with him because you know what a force he is. But he's also had his issues off the field. So we'll see what happens with that.
I think the story says he slapped the guy in the back of the head. I don't know what went down, but the guy's not pressing charges today. Wait until he starts talking to his friends, family, a check with an attorney. All of a sudden, a month from now, so-and-so decides to press charges against Tyreek. Yeah. You understand that guy's worth a couple $100 million? Man,
hey, interestingly enough, there was a settlement had with the waiter and Tyreek, something like that, with a non-disclosed.
How many witnesses did you have?
Right.
Did you got any witnesses? Oh, we got to go after him.
Guys in a neck brace, who knows? But yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But now, keep your eye on it. Sony Michel goes back to the Rams. I mean, at this point, there's not a ton left there with Sony Michel. Yeah.
If he's a help, but have the Rams fix their offensive line problems? Don't know. That's huge for them. You know, you want to keep Matthew Stafford upright and breathing because that offensive line got Stafford killed last year to the point he didn't finish out the season.
Yeah.
You know, so what have you done first and foremost to fix that offensive line, if anything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
I
not,
hear you.
it'll be a long year for the Rams.
Yeah. Sad one here. Clark Haggans, who was a linebacker on the Super Bowl team from the Steelers that won it in 2006, 46 years old, passed away Wednesday morning. We don't know the cause of death right now. He was a 5th rounder out of Colorado State in the 2000s. Played 8 years in Pittsburgh. Played alongside Joey Porter. You know, he had a very good career. 5 tackles. He had a sack on Matthew Hasselbeck in the opening drive of the Super Bowl, which, you know, the Super Bowl 40. I believe that's Barrett's team, the 06 team.
It is.
Yeah. So he had a really good career. He spent 4 seasons with the Cardinals, and then 1 with the Niners as well. So anyway, we don't know what, sadly, the cause of death was, but no matter what, 46, man, too soon.
What is it with these ex-football players that are all of a sudden dying so unexpectedly, man? 46 years old, you're still in the prime of your life, man. You know, you're not that far removed from the game, so you got to be at least decent shape. You know, you might not be in NFL shape, but you're still in decent shape. My goodness, this is becoming too commonplace with these ex-athletes. All of a sudden dying unexpectedly, man. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's funny. Gigi is saying COVID vaccines, and you know, it's interesting because I've seen so many stories about how this COVID vaccine has caused people a lot of health issues, and a number of people have died from the aftermaths of this COVID vaccine. I got the vaccine. I got the first 2 shots and the booster. You know, so far so good. I haven't had any ill effects from it. You know. Would I do it again? If I knew back then what I know now about this vaccine, would I do it then? No. And I understand a lot of people did it because jobs required you to do it to go back on a job. I get that. But if what the reports are saying is true about what the aftermath has had effects on people's bodies,
yeah, look, there's a lot of different views, right? And some of it falls along political lines. Some of it is just a health thing, and people have their opinions, and they're entitled to their opinions. That's for sure. But I did the same thing you did. All right. Beyond that, you know, this one, Derek, we've talked about this a lot, you know, and I floated his name for the Eagles, and you know, there were no charges brought against Matt Ariza, the punter, kid out of San Diego State. He was found to not even be at the party, sadly, where this alleged assault took place. And, you know, he did cop to having a relationship with the young lady, but he was not there when, you know, the alleged gang rape went down. Okay. This is heavy stuff, but so he is now countersuing because they are bringing a lawsuit against him, the woman's, you know, political team or excuse me, a legal team. And Matt Ariza is now countersuing for defamation the woman's attorney. And he was on Real Sports last night. Andrea Kramer did a sit down with him, Brian Gumbel's show on HBO. And Andrea Kramer did a sit down with him. And, you know, she went after the lawyer pretty good. She said, look, what you're saying now is vastly different from what initially came out about Matt Ariza. So that's going to be one to keep your eye on. I think it was either Joe Mixon or Dalvin Cook did something very similar regarding allegations against them, and they countersued as well. So I'm wondering about 2 things. You know, the Jets worked him out. I know he's going to be kicking in like a Mexican football league right now, while biding his time to try to get back to the NFL. But I really got to wonder, Derek, if there isn't a team that during this year that needs a punter, or if one of their guys goes down or somebody's not punting well, they don't make this move. I'd be really, really surprised if that's the case because, you know, as damaging as this thing was for his reputation, if it turns out that he didn't do anything, why shouldn't he be able to work? I don't understand it.
Well, I thought he was already cleared of all charges.
He is, but there's still a civil suit.
Okay.
There is still a civil suit, which is different from being found legally guilty of anything. Yeah.
So it's already confirmed he was not there at the time of the crime.
Correct.
the attorney on the side of the woman's part miscalculated by going out, because it cost him a year's salary, a year of work. So I honestly believe, I don't think that case will, his countersuit, I don't think will ever go to court, but I do think he'll get a settlement to the point it'll make up for the money he lost last year in the National Football League. Now, the civil suit the girl's family is filing, that's going to be interesting. I don't know all the details behind that, but if she was of age and it was consensual, I'm trying to figure out why would they file a civil suit.
The lawyer intimated that he sort of
was she underage at the time?
I don't know. I don't know that, but the lawyer's intimating that he led the woman after their encounter. I'm trying to keep this like clean here. After their encounter, he led the woman to the house where some of the stuff went down, even though he did leave after that. I don't know all the legal ramifications and wranglings and all that, but according to the lawyer, he still holds some accountability. Again, this is what the lawyer's saying, not what I'm saying. So,
okay.
I don't know. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, Sill says they're suing him for $50,000. The woman is suing Ariza, and then Ariza's countersuing for defamation. So we'll see how this plays out in court. But I would be surprised if at some point he isn't given an opportunity in the league. I would be very surprised.
I would be also. I mean, he's one of the strongest legs in the league. And, you know, especially a potential playoff team is going to need every weapon they can possibly have at their disposal. And let's face it, if you have a premier punter, field position is everything. He's a really good one. So, yeah, I expect him to be wearing somebody's uniform before this is all said and done.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so other than that, a couple other little odds and ends here. We talked about this a little bit before because Jim Miller, I believe is his name, he was on Good Morning Football kind of laying this out, spokesman from the league. But the league has made it a point to re-emphasize and reinforce the gambling rules for players because so many have gotten nailed lately. So basically the league, what they're doing is rookies are going to have mandatory sessions to make sure that they know all the rules in and out. And they're also going to have a rep from the league visit each team to reiterate this with everybody, including the veterans. So the 6 rules that you have to at least abide by. These are like the tenets here. Number 1, don't bet on the NFL. They really cut and dry on that one. Number 2, don't gamble on anything at your facility, on the team plane, or at the team hotel. That means basketball, baseball, football, whatever you're into. Don't bet when you're at those places, period. Number 3, don't have somebody bet for you. They have ways of finding this stuff out. Do not do it. Don't have a cousin do it. Don't have a buddy do it. You'll get tied to it. That's number 3. Number 4, do not share any inside information, which is, pretty self-explanatory. But the quarterback's got a bad ankle, whatever. Don't share any inside information. Number 5, don't enter a sports book at any time during the NFL season, no matter what you intend to bet on. Don't go in there. Lastly, number 6, don't play fantasy football. That's it. You have to abide by those rules if you want to be a player in the league, plain and simple. I think it's pretty clear. I have no sympathy, Derek, for anybody else who gets nailed. The league is going over and over again trying to hammer this thing to what you can do and what you can't do. So anybody who gets caught now, it's on you.
And you know what's going to happen? Somewhere down the road, we're going to be talking about this again because some player is going to test the water, so to speak.
Yep.
If you think about how many years they've had rookie symposiums in the NFL, and they've brought in players like Chris Carter, the Hall of Fame receiver, played for the Minnesota Vikings and played here in Philadelphia, who's documented his stories on how he went through drugs and how it almost cost him his career and his life and how he recovered from that. They bring in players who've gone through all kinds of personal experiences, being taken for money, DUIs, domestic abuses, and how they survive those things. And what do we still talk about across the National Football League? Assaults, DUIs, drugs, so on and so forth. There are just some players that things fall on deaf ears because they feel they're bigger than the moment. It's like talking to your kids and you tell your kid, don't touch the candy. Don't touch. I've told you, don't touch. You come back 10 minutes later, they're holding it. Why'd you pick the candy up? I don't know. It's the same thing. You can tell these young football players all you want, but they're going to find a way. They're going to use a front man, somebody who's going to be like their ghost. Fantasy football in particular has become so big now, and so many people play it. I guarantee you, players are going to have somebody playing for them.
Yep.
Now, many won't get caught, but some will. And it's going to come out eventually. No matter what you try to do to help these players stay on a straight and narrow, you always have a small percentage that goes beyond the boundaries because of the excitement, the possibility of making additional money that I may not have to file taxes for.
Yeah, I mean, see, Dan brings up something a lot of folks bring up. Dan Silio does. So the NFL has a team in Vegas, and now the Pro Bowl events, and next year the draft, all in Vegas. So the NFL can do business with gaming, but players can't. Owners don't want to share the gambling income. Well, there is part of that, but there is the legitimate, and I think it's a good point, but there is a legitimate piece to this of fixing games. It can lead to that.
Growing games,
inside information. Yeah, right. And we've seen the Tim Donaghy thing, and that's an official. That's obviously a little bit different. But if you're talking about players betting on their own team, potentially, Pete Rose situations where you're betting, even betting on them to win, you may do things a little bit differently. I got $100,000 on this game. I'm going to do something I normally wouldn't do, or I have $100,000 on the other team. I'm not going to give the same kind of effort. I'm hurt.
Right.
I'm this, I'm that. It's a very slippery slope. I do think there is hypocrisy with the league and having no problem opening up their pockets to the sites and whatnot. But I do think there is a danger area for players when it comes to this. I think it can be a very slippery slope, though, for sure.
You don't know how many players who could know a betting shark and giving them inside information on injuries and stuff, and the betting shark makes a bundle off of that and slips this guy a percentage of it for helping him out. You don't know. But the bottom line, Rob, is you work as a player, you work for their corporation. They don't work for you. They can implement any rules that they want to. And whether we think about in our business, we work in an industry where they have rules and regulations. Whether we agree with them or not, we have to abide by them, or we're looking for another job, or we're out of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, look, and Dan brings up an NFL front office. Well, they're under the same umbrella as players. If Howie Roseman has a bet on a game and he says, "Hey, don't play Jalen Hurts today. Play, Marcus Mariota or last year Gardner Minshew." He's in the same boat. He would be done. It's like almost like anything else. It's like, okay, at X company, we have to wear a blue fleece.
Yes.
You may not like it, but if you want to work at Blue Company, you're wearing a blue fleece. It's the way it works.
You don't have to agree with any rule a corporation lays down. But the bottom line is, how much do you want to work for them?
Yeah.
And in other facets of life, you can always bounce around and recover. But when you have the one shot in your life to play professional sport, are you really willing to push that to the point you're pushed out of the league before you can maximize your money making potential?
You're going to have plenty of time. You got plenty of time to gamble. Because you're going to have a lot more, hopefully, barring, an early death, sadly. You're going to have plenty of time after football's over or any other sport's over to do whatever you want, anytime you want.
If you're lucky enough to stay into the league until let's say early 30s, even if you don't make the big quarterback money, you're still going to make enough money where you can have monopoly money to play with on the side. If you invest your money right, if you put your money away, don't spend it all while you're playing. You're exactly right, Rob. You're in your early 30s. Your window of opportunity as a professional athlete is limited. Right. Life after that is yours. Do with it what you want. But just for a short amount of time in your lifespan to play this game, you have to abide by their rules. They don't have to abide by your rules.
Right.
Don't push the envelope, plain and simple, if you want to be on the inside looking out instead of the outside looking in. Plain and simple.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Look, again, I get people on both sides of this thing. I do. I understand it. All right. We've been doing our greatest series, and we'll continue to do that today. Yesterday, we did the Steelers. That was fun. I mean, there were so many to choose from. There were probably 10 that we didn't put on the list that could have easily been on the list because they had so many players over the years. You know what I found in doing we're doing the Giants today, but you know what I found in doing research for the Giants?
What's that?
There's at least there's at least 4 guys that I didn't see play that I feel like should either get like an honorable mention or be on the list, who were great, but they were just way before my time.
I agree with you because I put 2 of them on my list just based on the hours of research I did on this last night. There's a couple I never saw play, but based on what they accomplished, they deserve to be on the list, and I put them on there. I had to put them on.
I did the same, and I just think it's only fair. Like you can't do the hey, just because I didn't see them, routine. I just don't think that's fair to those guys. Like I'll give you an example of one. Emlyn Tunnel is one.
Perfect example.
Yeah, and I knew the name, Derek, because I had a really long conversation with a guy who Emlyn Tunnel is from Bryn Mawr. He's from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, which is near where our Philadelphia area. He went to Radnor High School. Okay.
Yep.
One of the first African Americans, to play for Radnor, the early NFL, color barrier guy. He went to University of Toledo in Iowa, et cetera, et cetera. But he was a great player. Great player. And this guy was telling me, look, he doesn't get nearly the love he deserves. Please just look up his numbers. And, and the guy was right on. I started doing some research on him, and incredible, right? I mean, he just had a great career. He died young, sadly. He died at 53 or whatever he was. It was a shame. But the guy had a great career. Anyway, he's an example of someone who deserves to be on this list who I never saw play. I never saw him play. Yeah.
He was the first African-American to play for the Giants.
Right.
And he was the first African-American inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
He had 79 career interceptions. In 1952, he had more yards returning interceptions and kickoffs than the leading rusher had in the National Football League that year.
That is unbelievable. And they didn't throw a ton then. It's not like today where you're throwing 40, 50 times a game. They didn't throw that much in those days.
It's ridiculous. And he made 9 Pro Bowls. And I sat and I studied and I sized him up. He definitely made my top 10. Here we go again, thinking alike again. See, he definitely made my top 10 list.
Yeah, he's in there. I'm with you. And that's why I'm glad we're not really ranking this one, because he absolutely deserves to be in there. And Dan's uncle played with him. That's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's one.
Dan,
and I had
Dan played back in the day of leather helmets, didn't he?
That's right. No helmets. Yeah. With Jim Thorpe. No, he was a great player. I think, Dan said his nickname was the Gremlin. I guess I didn't know that, but that's awesome. Yeah. All right. So, why don't you kick it off, Derek, with your first one, and then we'll just we'll just jump back and forth with guys.
Well, I'm glad you started with the unknowns, because I think there's no way we're not simpatico with who the number 1 player is. So
yes.
And Big Sales, Andy Robicelli, you're exactly right.
That's his uncle.
Wait,
yeah.
He's your uncle?
Yeah, it's his uncle. Yeah.
And I almost had him on my list as well. Great player.
He's on mine. Yeah, he's defensive end. He was a great defensive end. He's on mine. Yep.
I put this guy, Melhine, H-E-N.
Center. He's on mine too.
Yeah. He plays center and linebacker, and that was
like
in the era
Derek.
when there was no face guard. A guy who played center back in the day with no face guard, that was probably the most dangerous position to play in the National Football League at the time.
Can you imagine? Not even no. It was like the goalies back in the day in hockey didn't play with face masks. They didn't have any masks on. Can you imagine?
Oh, geez. He made the Pro Bowl 4 times, and he made first team All NFL. Now it's All Pro, but it was called First Team NFL back then. 8 consecutive years, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame back in where's this number I had here? 1963, which was the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame, 1963.
Yep.
In 11 of the 15 years he played with the Giants, the Giants had winning records. So I put him on there because, again, this is about the history of a team, not our personal preference of a team.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. The other one that I put in that was, more along the old school line, was an offensive lineman, Rosie Brown.
Yes.
Who was incredible back in the day. But again, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't even heard of him, Derek, until I started doing some research on the Giants. I wasn't familiar with Rosie Brown, but he's another one who's on there. So the old school guys I went with were Andy Robustelli, Rosie Brown, Mel Hine, and Emlyn Tuttle. So everybody else everybody will have heard of that I have on my list.
Well, see, my old school guys were Tuttle, Rosie Brown, Hine, and Sam Huff.
I have Sam Huff on mine too. Yeah.
As a kid coming up, I heard about this Sam Huff and what he was. He played 8 of his 13 years with the Giants. He was drafted in the 3rd round. Now, he came from a poor coal mining town in West Virginia, and he went to the University of West Virginia, where he was an incredible defensive end.
Yeah.
When the Giants drafted him, they couldn't fit him in their defensive line because they had so many other people ahead of him. He almost quit. Now, this is a guy who grew up dirt poor. He almost quit. But an assistant coach named Vince Lombardi convinced him to come back. And a defensive coordinator named Tom Landry implemented a 4-3 defense and made him a linebacker. And in his rookie year, the starting linebacker got hurt, middle linebacker got hurt. He moved in and never missed a beat. The other guy never got his job back. And the Giants went on to win the championship in 1956. When he was a rookie linebacker back then.
Pretty good coaching staff there. Landry and Vince Lombardi on the staff, not bad.
But this dude was, we talk about Concrete Charlie in Philadelphia. This dude was a hard hitter, sledgehammer, knocking people out, and he was extremely fast as well. He was everything that we talk about linebackers being today in terms of speed. That's what he was back then. So he definitely had to make my list. And, of course, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame as well.
Yeah, and he finished his career at the Redskins. They were called the Redskins.
Yeah.
So, definitely have him. I'll tell you the one. I didn't have a hard time putting him on the list, but I am a little bit torn when it comes to Eli. Now, look, he won 2 Super Bowls. He was the MVP and twice, brought down the Patriots, one time an undefeated Patriots team.
Yep.
That in and of itself is worthy of being on any team's greatest player list.
Absolutely.
Do I like the way it ended, with some of his struggles and the way his numbers dipped and all those kind of things? No, I don't love it. And I know people will say he's definitely not a pro football Hall of Fame or whatever. I think that's very debatable, but he's 100% a Giant. Great, in my opinion.
I don't know if he'll ever I don't think he'll ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The man threw for over 57,000 yards and 366 touchdowns. There's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that threw for less. Okay. True. And he won 2 trophies with the Giants. Matter of fact, his team beat an undefeated New England team. Okay. So one of the greatest upsets in NFL history, he led his team down the field to an upset victory. If that's not Hall of Fame worthy, whether it's the first ballot or somewhere down the line, I don't know what is. But when you stacked him up against the other quarterbacks who've come through the Giants, I couldn't put Wyatt Tittle. Wyatt Tittle wasn't with the Giants long enough, number one. Phil Simms was a good quarterback, but Phil Simms was a byproduct of the Giants had one of the most dominant teams of the era when Phil Simms was the quarterback. Phil Simms didn't put up in great numbers. He put up good numbers. He was a consistent quarterback. So I didn't put either one of those two on my list. But Eli Manning, when you look at his accomplishments he took over that team early in his career and never looked back. He was a starting quarterback for 15 years?
Yes.
Something like that.
And played all the time.
Yeah. You can't overlook that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And look, when you play your best in the biggest of moments, and the Super Bowls are the biggest of moments, like he's on there. And you look, just a helmet catch. The fact that he gets out of that sack is insane. I know the catch is what we all focus on.
Yes.
Watch the beginning of the play, how he avoids that sack. It's crazy. So he's in there. I agree with you. LT is the one that you referenced earlier as our lock number one. Absolutely. It's not even close. Yes. How about 10 Pro Bowls, 8-time first team All-Pro, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 132.5 sacks, 9 interceptions. And just struck fear. Total intimidator. I mean, he was the ultimate.
He changed the way the outside linebacking position was played. In 1986, he won the MVP award in the league. He's the last defensive player to win it.
Yes.
That should tell you just how special he was. If you look at the award, it has been an offensive award since he won it back in 1986.
Right.
So there's no question about it. LT was the man, one of the greatest defensive players, not just for the Giants, that ever put on an NFL uniform in the history of the game.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Yep.
The scary part about it is, as he talked about it later in life, there were times he would play with hangovers and stuff like that from nights out carousing and stuff. What would he have done if he had just focused and played football without being hungover back in the day? Jeez.
Oh my God. I know. And look, can you imagine being like Belichick and Parcells back then? For people who don't know, Belichick was his defensive coordinator. Like, you never knew what you were going to get, like, day to day, whether he was going to show up, hungover or high or whatever. You never knew what was going to happen with him. But when he was on the field, he was a machine. It was incredible. There's a couple others that I looked at, like Strahan. There's a no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
I mean, just look at the sack totals. I mean, incredible.
The only thing I did not like about Strahan was, and it's not even him, it's how he arrived at this point. He set that record for QB sacks with 22 and a half. And I remember that game because I'm watching it. They're playing Green Bay, and Brett Favre basically falls down in front of Michael Strahan, gives him that sack.
I hated it by Favre. I didn't like it for Strahan, but I hated Favre doing it. It's like, dude, be a you're Mr. Competitor guy. That was weak.
Which shocked me because Brett Favre is one of the most – I always said Brett Favre was a linebacker playing quarterback. He was that tough.
Yep.
And for him to just concede, I understand he had the utmost respect for Michael Strahan. But in a game where you earn everything you get, you don't just give it to him, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You just laid down and gave it. I'll never forget that game.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I didn't like it. It turned me off. I was already kind of, losing it with Favre, and that sent me the other way with him. Look, Frank Gifford. Frank Gifford has to be on any Giant list. I mean, this guy, Gunner, he had almost 10,000 total yards in his career. 8 Pro Bowls, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Hall of Fame. I mean, his numbers are unbelievable between running, catching, and returning. He did it all.
The thing that's impressive about him the most, he was an 8-time Pro Bowler. He made Pro Bowl as a defensive back, a halfback, and a wide receiver.
Right. That's amazing.
How versatile can you be? Jeez.
Oh
my goodness. He missed one season thanks to Concrete Charlie.
Well, right there.
But he came back and finished out his career. Played 3 more years after the one season he missed, and had a Hall of Fame career because of it.
Yeah, no question. Who else did you have? Do you have any others on your list?
Yeah, I have 2 others. I have Harry Carson.
Okay.
Harry Carson was a phenomenal linebacker. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2006. Played his entire 13-year career with the Giants. 9-time Pro Bowler. He had 11 interceptions. Part of the Super Bowl team. Harry Carson was a beast. You look at where he played in. Carl Banks, Harry Carson, and LT. I mean, you're hard pressed when you stack up the best trio of linebackers ever to play the game together. You have to put that trio together. They were phenomenal. And I know Carl Banks. We've had him on this show.
Yeah. He still does Giants radio.
Yeah. Yes, he was a phenomenal talent on the football field. And the other guy I had was, believe it or not, Tiki Barber.
Yeah.
Tiki Barber played 10 years in the NFL, and he quit in the prime of his career. And people kept saying, why are you quitting? Mm-hmm. And he said, dude, this game has taken a toll on my body. And Rob, I look at his numbers. The last 5 years he was in the league, he ran for at least 1,200 yards a season. The last 5 years he was in the league. The last 5 years in the league, this is how many carries he had. 304, 278, 322, 357, 327. Okay?
Oof.
And then the last 2 years he was in the league, he ran for 1,860 yards, 1,662 yards. If you look at the volume of catches that he had the last 8 years of his career, he had a minimum of 52 catches a season.
Yeah.
Some of those seasons he had 67, 64, 72. He was used and abused, man. He was done.
I can tell you, at least in my opinion, what this is with Tiki, because I know he turned off a lot of Giants fans too.
Yep.
Because if you remember, after his playing career, he retired right before they won the first one with Strahan and Eli.
Yep.
And he kind of half badmouthed Eli and said some things about the Giants organization that ticked off a lot of Giants fans. It wasn't nationally as much, but so he doesn't have the same kind of love of the fan base of the Giants that he probably should, considering his output, like what he did.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that hurts him a little bit because that kind of creeps into the national thing. Now, not to say he hasn't gone on to have, it was a weird road, because if you remember when he left the Giants, he was going to do TV. He was going to be on the Today, kind of like what Strahan's doing. And it didn't work out for him. And he had an ugly situation with his, first marriage and whatever. But
she was pregnant and he left and had a girlfriend outside, left a wife with a girlfriend. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he sort of rebuilt himself. Now, for those of us who follow the radio game, Craig Carton is leaving afternoon drive at WFAN in New York. He's going to FS1 full-time. Tiki Barber's moving into afternoons. So Tiki will move into afternoon. So he's carving himself out a really solid radio career.
Yes, absolutely.
But anyway, so but it was a little testy at first with him and Giants fans for sure. But you had everybody I had. I had Carson, I had Tiki, I had all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, he ran for almost 10,500 yards in his career. He was at 10,449, and he averaged for his career 4.7 yards a carry. So I had to put him on the list. Yeah,
it's darn good. They were throwing some good names in there. Our chat was, some really good names. Yes. Bavaro was a really good tight end. During the Parcells era, Shockey had his years. I don't think Shockey did it as long as Bavaro did, in my opinion.
No.
But yeah, certainly some good players during that time. That's for sure. All right, let's do this, Gunnar. Let's get a timeout in there. Unless, did you have any other ones you want to throw in there, Giants?
No, that was it. I mean, I'm looking at OC's on there. Carl Banks. Yeah, Carl Banks I've known for a long time. He deserves to be on there.
Big fan.
But historically, when we decided to do this, I said we can't just do it based on players we know of. You got to dig a little bit deeper and look at all of them that are considered the greatest. And in this opinion, opinions vary, but that was my opinion for my list.
Well, and to answer, there's someone in the chat who says, is this an Eagles podcast or a Giants podcast? Well, first, it's not a podcast, number one. And number two, it's not just an Eagles show. It's an everything show. We do everything. Yeah. We do Eagles. We do the NFL. We do the Phillies. We do the Sixers. We do the Flyers. We do the NBA. We do Major League Baseball. We have fun. We'll show pictures of ourselves. We'll embarrass ourselves. We'll do a lot of different things, but we are not in a box. We are not one thing. We don't pigeonhole ourselves. So for what that's worth. All right, get a timeout. We'll come back and we will continue rolling. We got birthdays. We got movies. Give you a little Venus Williams update. We haven't heard from Venus in a little bit, so we will do that as well. Don't go anywhere. That's Derek. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Razor technology, because data estate is critical, because data is everywhere in business today. But when it's locked away in silos, it can't be efficiently used. And businesses don't have time to wait for the insights that shape decision-making. Razor Technology's data management not only integrates data from wherever it's generated and collected, but provides a uniform structure for storing, interpreting, and distributing it to decision makers. Razor helps businesses transform and model their data, use it to populate real-time dashboards, and create shareable reports that highlight key areas of progress as well as warning signs in need of attention. Smart data analytics and the tools to make data insights easily digestible help businesses of all sizes and types discover where they could be untapping significant savings. Razor Technology can help you break down your silos and fully realize the value of your data to drive growth for your business. To learn more, contact Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282. That's 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild wood days.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
EAGLES, Eagles.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Final segment of the show. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We are Sports Steak. Let's smash the like button if we could, friends. You can always go back and check out our interviews. We had Tom McCarthy on a little bit earlier. Just go to jakibsports.com, JAKIB Sports YouTube channel to check that out. You can also check out our interview with Brandon Graham as well there, and we'll have Jason Kelsey tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So you want to be hanging for that also.
Hey, what time?
2 o'clock. Fingers are crossed. Yes, I hear you. This is pretty cool, Derek. Venus Williams, not Serena, Venus, will be making her 24th appearance at Wimbledon. 24 Wimbledon appearances.
How old is she now?
40-ish. 40-ish. I'm going to get you the exact date. I'm going to guess she's 40. 41. This is totally off the top of my head. I don't know. 80. She's 43.
43.
She turned 43 4 days ago. So she's 43.
43 and still playing.
She's won 7 Grand Slam titles, 5 at Wimbledon, 2 at the US Open. You know, it's a shame. Like, that's unreal. But she gets so overlooked because of Serena. Like, she is a great, great player in her own right, an all-timer.
She was always overshadowed by her sister. But the fact that she still has that competitive edge, you know, you get out there and see how far she goes. Now, if you were a betting man, do you think she gets past the second round?
Yes. I'm going to say she does.
You think so?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say she does. Look, I know she's not what she was. I get it. But most tennis players, you know what? I will say this: males and females are playing much longer than they used to. You see guys you know, I'm trying to think, Jokic, you know, all these other guys. They're playing longer than they used to. But the fact that she's still playing at 43, and Serena has basically said, you know, like I'm winding this thing down. I'm done. I can't blame her. But I think Venus kind of looks at this like it might be her last time around, her last go, her last hurrah. I think she might have a little run in her, Derek. I'm hoping so.
I don't know, man. These young kids nowadays, bigger, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to watch because I want to see how it plays out.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, hopefully she's not playing while we're on the air one day. I would love to see it. I don't want to hear it secondhand. I don't want to have to read it with summary. I want to get to see this. You know, her competing against these younger, fast, strong kids that are out there nowadays, just to see how well she competes. I would say she's going to be hard pressed to get past the second round, but depending on the luck of the draw, you never know.
Yeah, rooting for her for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. The women's national soccer team roster has come out, and Julie Ertz is on the team, Derek. Yeah, she's one of their midfielders. So congratulations to her. You know, that's after having a child, and speaking of stud athletes, what genes those kids have with her and Zach Ertz. My God.
And your mom Zach and your dad is Zach and your mom is Julie Ertz, and they're both professional athletes.
Telling you, nasty, right? Absolutely nasty.
Oh, my goodness.
Very cool. Very cool. Congratulations to both of them on what they're doing here. All right, let's hit some birthdays, and then we'll swing it back to a couple other things that we have.
We've had so many great topics today, and Tom McCarthy was stellar as always. Almost forgot we had birthdays today.
I know, right? Good birthday day. It was killer movie day yesterday. It's pretty solid today. But all right, so we have Chris Pratt, who's just turned into a superstar. I used to watch him on Parks and Rec, which I thought was a funny show.
All right, you got to ask you this. Do you like him better in Guardians of the Galaxy or the Jurassic World series?
Jurassic World series.
Same here.
Yes.
Same
here. Yep. He's 44 today. So, and he's also become like ripped. The guy's like buff. Prince William, you know how I feel about the royalty thing, but okay, I'll acknowledge Prince William. He's
hey, he's second in the line to the throne, my man.
I know. He's 41 today. So happy birthday, Prince. All right. Juliette Lewis, who's a good actress, really good actress, edgy, you know, not afraid to take on some crazy stuff. She's 50 years old today.
You know, she wanted, I didn't even know this, and I've watched the movie a bunch of times. She won an Academy for her performance in Cape Fear. Cape Fear is a great movie.
Oh, it's so good. De Niro's so good in that.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize she won an Academy Award for that.
Won an Academy for that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Jane Russell, who was one of the original pinup girls back in the day.
Strong. Strong.
Yes, strong. Yep. Born on this day, 1921. The singer Lana Del Rey is today. Meredith Baxter, who was the mother in Family Ties, is 76. Here's a funny coincidence, Gunner.
Yes.
We know where I'm going. Her TV husband, Michael Gross, the actor who played the dad, they're both had the same birthday and they're the same age.
Yes.
What are the odds of that?
I saw that. I'm like, I had to look at it twice. I'm like, huh?
It's crazy.
Never seen that before.
That's pretty cool. They're both 76 today, those two. Mariette Hartley, the actress, is 83 today. Ray Davies of the Kinks, one of the all-time great musicians and great bands, is 79 today.
Yep.
Brandon Flowers, one of my current favorite bands, The Killers. He's a lead singer of The Killers. He's 42 today. One of the best assistants/coordinators in the history of the NFL, Wade Phillips. Not a great head coach.
Yep.
But if you wanted a guy back in the day to run a good defense, Wade Phillips was your man. So
that's right.
He's 76 today. Maureen Stapleton, who was the sister of Gene Stapleton of All in the Family, was born on this day, 1925. Tom Chambers, the NBA player, longtime NBA player, is 64 years today. Tony Scott, the great director, sadly took his own life. He was born on this day in 1944. He did a lot of really good stuff. He was an excellent. I loved all his movies. But I agree. It's a shame. Thaddeus Young, former Sixer, is 35 today. Derek Coleman, former Sixer, is 56 today. Rick Sutcliffe, Cy Young Award winner, the former pitcher, is 67 today. Maggie Siff, who's in a lot of different things, is a really good actress. She's 49 years old. I loved her in Billions, which is a really good show. But she's 49 today. You got any other birthdays, D?
Let's see. We got Joe Flaherty, Pittsburgh native, who's in Happy Gilmore. 82 today. Robert Pastorelli, great role. He played in Dances with Wolves. 69 today. Carrie Preston, who had a great role in the movie The Good Housewife, played in the series, the HBO series True Blood. 56 today. Richard Jefferson, former NBA player, first-round draft pick, 43 today.
Right.
Frank Vogel, just hired as the Suns' new head coach. It's 50 today.
Wildwood native. Yep.
Yeah. Kevin Harlan, who was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is the son of former Packer executive Bob Harlan, is 63 today.
Yep.
And Jussie Smollett, who played on a great show that was on for a while, Empire. You know the story behind him with the ruined his career. That incident in Chicago ruined his career.
That was it.
So,
yep. You will not be seeing him in anything anytime soon.
41 today.
Okay. All right. Movies. Toy Story 4. I really liked all the Toy Stories personally. So I'll watch any of them. I didn't see Dahmer that came out in 2002. I did not see that. Based on the life of Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm good.
That dude. Oh my goodness.
Monsters University came out in 2013. Very good movie, animated movie.
Yep.
Transformers, The Last Night came out in 2017.
Yep.
Solid. I thought it was solid. What was it? World War Z came out in 2013 also.
I watch it every time it's on.
I was going to say that's another one. If you're flipping around, it's a stick. It's definitely a stick. I'll give you one very good movie, Minority Report from 2002. It's probably my favorite movie on the list today.
Absolutely,
very good. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? That is from 1966. Joanna Man. You remember Joanna Man?
Yeah.
That's all I had for the movies. Did you have any other ones?
2019 Child's Play was a good one of those. I think it was one of those Chucky movies. I believe.
Okay.
1996, the animation The Hunchback of Notre Dame was a good kids movie. 2016, The Shallows, and 1985, Return to Oz.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. That's all she wrote. Okay. So again, tomorrow, 2:00, Jason Kelsey. So you want to be locked in for that. We'll certainly go over the Phillies game tonight. That's for sure. With a fine-tooth comb, we will dig into it. See if Aaron Nola can get his act together. If they can get tonight, and then you get the getaway game tomorrow in the afternoon. You take 2 or 3 from Atlanta. You put last night behind you. You're good to go. So we'll talk about that certainly. And again, if there's any NBA rumblings leading up into draft night, we get anything from that, we'll pass that along as well, and we will dig into it without question. All right. I want to thank Tone DeShields, producer of the program. Welcome back, Tone. Thanks to everybody. Very funny stuff in the chat section from you guys today. We appreciate everybody listening, everybody streaming.
We got to get that email going, man. We got to see.
Tone's on it.
It's time for us to laugh at some of them.
Yes. And as soon as we get it, we'll put that out to you so you guys can send us whatever goofiness that you have. So we will do that as well. All right. The National Football Show is coming your way with Dan Cilio, and Derek and I are back at it tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. All right. So for Derek, I'm Rob. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Wednesday. We will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.